the majority of it.
There was some conversation about the way Joe spoke
Oh yeah,
about
Mike,
Mel,
I
spoke
don't
to
want
Mel.
you to say. I want to hear from the people that feel this way. I feel like that's kind of leading the jury.
It is. It is.
That is correct.
Yeah, no. We want to hear. All right, so maybe it's no women. I'll bring up some of the guys then.
Joe.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, listen, guys. So I'm drinking coffee and I am like actually watching the pod right now, right? So I've made it to maybe uh, an hour and a half. And Joseph, oh my God. So typically, oh, first of all, my name is Star. I've been on the stage before. You guys may not remember me, but typically I'm not on the side of, and for those that have not made it, we're talking about the way that Joe was kind of talking to Mel. uh Joe, it just seems like you was having an off morning, which I don't typically jump on this side of it, like, Joe is being quote unquote mean to Mel or whatever, or dogpiling on Mel. But it just seems like you was a little off. Like, it's been kind of hard to watch thus
I
far.
want the
And I
record to
really just been
show.
sitting here with my mouth
I
open.
want the record to show that I was not off, angry, or moody.
Okay, not off, not moody, not angry.
I was in a
How about
delightful mood, so
okay,
I am able to have this discourse. Which
okay.
parts are you talking about that I was so mean?
Well, I'm not gonna hold you. Like I said, I'm only like an hour and a half in. To me, it's not even like mean or moody. To me, to start, it's more so annoyed. Like, when you get fed up with something, that's the way that it's coming across on screen. Like slightly annoyed. Like it's like telling your child or somebody to, you have to keep telling them the same thing over and over and over and over and over, and now it's dragging it. So now I'm annoyed. That's how I'm taking it.
I also want to say that I wasn't annoyed. So if I'm
Okay.
coming off annoyed, then I need to look at that. But I wasn't annoyed.
Are you speaking to when he was saying that it was like an hour in and Mel hadn't really said anything? Because he calls that out regardless if it's Mel, I feel like, or anybody. So I don't know. I don't also take that as Joe is being mean, or I don't know. I think some people are too sensitive, but that's just my opinion. But I don't know. I see it sometimes, but yesterday, if you're like an hour in, she wasn't really even saying much an hour in.
No, she was not. That's why I'm saying I 1000% agree with what Joe is saying. I'm trying to get to the part that everybody was discussing yesterday, because all I see is like lady like talk. That's what I'm seeing. So I'm not understanding why everybody was on Joe ass yesterday.
Yeah, because if you were only an hour in, it's not really a fair critique to even give like a real opinion on it. Like if you listen to the full episode, I could understand certain grievances, but like an hour in, like we ain't even got to the good stuff yet, like
I
at all.
also want to
Right. And
say that my "that's not your bed" rant was not directed at Mel. I wasn't talking to Mel. I want the people that had the grievance to come up here and just tell me the part.
Yeah, bring them up because I want to know too. I thought it was a phenomenal episode. I'm still listening to it again. Like I thought it was perfect. Like it was typical Joe, like giving that energy of like those, bad takes that people are like, huh, what? Like, oh my God, he's such a narcissist. Oh my God. Like, yeah, like what you was saying, it was like toxic and crazy, but it was like funny and entertaining. Like I laughed the whole freaking episode. Like I didn't take anything personal to that magnitude. So when I saw all the comments, I was like, I was like, dang, I was like, why y'all always do this? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Agreed. And I just want to reiterate, like I said when I first came up here, I have not watched the whole episode and I'm trying to figure out what everybody was discussing yesterday. So
Then I saw some people say that my rant was like a Mel sub. Like I saw a lot of chitter chatter in the community, and I just want somebody to come up here and give it a go.
Yeah, let's hear it. Q's up
Come
here.
on,
Let's see
there's
what Q
mad
has to
people up
say.
here. Come on, let's hear it. New people to the stage, say something. What's poppin'?
I got it. Good morning.
My man.
How's
Good
everyone
morning. Good
doing in the
morning.
community? Joe, King Gaslight is here. We understand you're in that mood today, you know.
No. I'm ready to be open-minded and take accountability.
Joe, I don't believe you.
I
This
am.
this is what you desire. You love this. You come here with the calm voice, relaxed, feeling at zen, but you're ready for the bullshit.
I'm ready for discourse. I'm
Okay.
ready to learn.
Okay, so let's go there. What were you feeling yesterday, Joe? What was your mind state? What was your energy, or the day you guys recorded the pod? That it came off to a large percentage of the viewers as if Joe's in a bad mood. Joe's picking that male. Joe's doing too much. It
Well,
was cringe to watch, Joe. I turned it off. I said I can't watch my guy like
well,
this,
I
man.
do
Oh
want
my
to
God.
say you guys have said that about me for now 2 podcasts in a row, and I've been having an amazing summer. I haven't been grumpy. I ain't had an attitude. Actually, everybody was in great spirits last pod. So I'm not certain why it came off like that. I watched
Let
it
me ask.
back. I didn't get what y'all got.
It's the
Are
Me neither.
bullying for me.
are
A lot
you
of
are
bullying.
you are you fed up with males dancing and what seems to be protecting relationships, not wanting to offend a women demographic, specifically a black woman demographic? Are you at the point where you're fed up with that, or to where it's noticeable, you don't like it, and you're trying to attempt to drag her past that to where it seems like she doesn't want to go there?
I'm not fed up with anything from Mel, if that's the question.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, no, I'm not fed up with anything with Mel. Mel
I
has
think
Mel
that is
has
the
a unique
punching
way
bag
of
of the pod.
potting, but no, nobody's fed up with Mel.
Can we just say, before I let T Rankin go, can we just say, like, when Joe is in a great mood, like, he is going to always roast, and sometimes his jokes may seem like they're harsh, but it's like typical to me, like, where it wasn't nothing different. Like, when he is in a good mood, he is going to roast, 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 roast. He did that to everybody on the cast yesterday, so I don't know why it's being
Because it
pointed out
doesn't it
directly to
doesn't come
Mel,
off like
but
roasting. It comes off like catty. It comes off like petty. It comes off as if a
Which
person is
part?
agitated.
Which part?
I don't know.
I'm speaking specifically to the part where we're 55 or 50 some minutes into the pod and you haven't spoke. Ice kind of chimed in. Ice didn't really want to chime in, but it comes off on the screen as awkward, man. And it's happened
Wait.
before.
I object to that.
You're
Me
good.
I
too.
object to that.
Good.
Wait, Joe, hang on. Object as a whole, because I'm gonna piggyback off some of his points. So
All right.
can I
Go
go,
ahead.
and
Let
then
No.
let
Yeah,
T
you
no.
have a
Let
Rankin
T
second
go.
round?
Rankin go.
I can't see. I can't do the gaslight. I will lose it, Joe.
Okay.
I can't
I
do the
don't want to
gaslight.
gaslight you. Let T Rankin
All
go.
right.
Let her go.
Okay. Joe, you know my steez when it comes to this podcast. You know. So it's not like you don't know. And you and I sort of had this kind of conversation before. So it's not the first time. So I just want to say yesterday's episode was very difficult for me to watch. I think because I'm a Melody, but also because I've been fucking with Joe Budden for the longest. And every time you put in one of these performances, it makes me slightly anxious on your behalf. That's just the way it goes, right? Now, the issue with the podcast started, the episode rather started, I think, when you guys started discussing that auntie segment. It's a very disgusting segment, right? And I think the approach Mel chose was not one that you appreciated, but you've been doing this consistently now where maybe a co-host approaches a topic in a way that you wouldn't approach it. Instead of letting them land, you cut them off and you're producing live on air to our hearing. It's really awkward, and it can knock them off their perch a little bit, make them nervous. And I think this is particularly applicable to Melyssa, somebody you can see that's processing what they're saying as they're saying it. So it started off on that note, right? Then I told his very funny story, which I'm sure people will talk about at length on Saturday. And I think for me, it really reached the nadir, which is like the lowest point, when she gave you the example of her fiance, and the way you addressed that was so dismissive, was so reductive, was so, and I'm thinking, okay, he's performing. This is a performance, and I'm thinking, okay, if this was a film and I was watching a couple of characters act this out, what would my review of this film be? Forget that this is Joe Budden. Think of them as characters. And I thought the guy was a real dickhead, like a real, like, you guys keep saying this is our sister, this is our sister. I have a sister. My best friend is a man. If he spoke to me like that, he and I wouldn't fuck with each other again. Like there comes a point where it stops being funny and it starts being awkward to observe. And I think the awkwardness started with that segment, right? And then in your response to her was like, oh, bitch, will you just leave? Oh, bitch. And you said, oh, okay, maybe I'm not speaking to you, but it was in direct response to what she said. Like the reduction was so much. She said, oh, whatever she said, Mel's comebacks are whack. So whatever she said, but you started sort of winding from my observations, you started winding her up there. And I think for me, the absolute lowest point of the podcast came when you said, chicken got it done. Joe, I swear to you, I was working, and when I heard that phrase, like my heart skipped. Like it was such a mean thing to say. And it was so mean that Flip got up and did a 360 round your center table. And he had to ask her, like, yo, you're gonna have that? And she said again, her whack comeback, oh, chicken did not fucking get it done, or whatever she said, And I'm thinking, this is you playing a character, okay? This is you trying to make your podcast entertaining, but it was really awkward, really, really, really awkward to observe, and it made me feel really bad because you were kind of nasty to her. I have to just keep it real with you. You were nasty to her, and it's not a thing of where everyone's saying, oh, your fans are so sensitive, people are so sensitive. Nobody on this stage can say they love Joe Budden more than his mom. After his mom, no one can say they fuck with him more than I do, right? So if I'm saying these things, it's not out of like, oh, I want to see Joe suffer. I want to see people piling on Joe. Or I want to see Joe stumble. It's because I'm watching this thing, somebody that I really fuck with, and I'm seeing him doing these things that I don't want the wider public to pick up on and start piling on him for. That was not a good performance yesterday. Let me just mute my mic there.
Beautiful, T Rankin, beautiful.
I could not disagree more. And
Here we go.
And that's actually part of my objection. So let's go through it a little bit. T Rankin, where's she at? Don't leave. Where you go?
I'm here. I'm right here.
T Rankin, the auntie segment, right? The auntie segment. Was that me? I don't even think that was me that said anything. I tossed it to Mel.
Yes.
To which Mel said, why are you tossing it to me? Is it because I have a vagina?
Yes.
To which I said, no, I'm tossing it to you because you were silent on the last topic. So I figured we'd let you lead with this one. And then I came in and said the exact same thing. And then to get into your character point, I think that in that story you just told, I think that I'm in character. I think that Flip was in character. I think there was only one person that was not in character, which was Mel. So yeah, no. If I or somebody else has to step it up a notch because somebody else is not in character or is not sticking to the script or is not sticking to the game plan. Like this topic is not for, we know what everybody would do in real life. Nobody, who cares? Yeah, everybody here is a mature adult who would not entertain this behavior that we're talking about with Game and Shorty. Who gives a fuck about that? This is a fun, light-hearted topic. So yes, if I have to interrupt or guide or produce in real time, I'll try to. Sorry that that comes off as awkward, but I don't think that in the moment is when anybody should be processing what they have to say about a topic. I think it's unprofessional. I think it's irresponsible. Um, I think mad shit. So cool. Joe will take the hit for how it comes off because I'm going to always take the hit. I'll stand in it too. But
Is Mel okay, Joe?
What can he
Mel's
finish?
great.
Is Mel going through some things in her life where she
Can he
might be a
please
little
finish?
catty, snippy, or what have you, agitated?
Oh my God.
Is everything okay on that level?
Mel
You don't have to go into
Mel is great.
detail.
Mel is great.
Okay.
But
DM
Joe,
Mail,
can
ask
you
her.
You're
please
too
finish
good for
yeah,
this?
me.
Can you
T
please
Rank.
finish what you were saying?
I
Thank
was
you.
I was toward the end. I finished with I'm gonna always take the hit for how it comes off, especially when we get off script and have to kind of reel things in. But shit, after a while, I even shut up during that auntie shit when it went toward the more serious direction. It's like, all right, cool. Then the next time I think, oh, was the fucking the chicken shit was hilarious. The chicken
It
No,
was
shit.
no, it
not.
wasn't. No, it
Joe, it
wasn't.
was not. I
No,
swear
it
to you,
wasn't.
Joe, it was not hilarious. It
It
was
was
not.
cringe, bro.
It was not. You shouldn't have said that. It was not.
Put me
And
down. I'm not
you know
emotionally
what
Oh,
makes it
mature
even
enough
stop
to
worse?
it.
deal with
Joe,
this
You're
stuff.
Joe, you
Stop
know
laughing
what,
at
it.
the
Put
Joe,
me
joke
down,
while you're
Stop
please.
it.
Joe, wait,
One
you
at
know
a
what
time,
makes it
guys.
worse?
One at a
Joe,
time.
do you know what makes it worse?
Give it to
Is
me.
that the way that whole chicken thing, the way we got to know is that Flip was doing some reconnaissance on Mel's private life. Then he came to the pod to announce it. Now, remember, this might be production behind the scenes, but we don't know that. So this is the way it seemed to us. Flip just came and announced like, yo, you've been talking to a nigga in Florida. And then it says, yeah, I heard some chicken was cooked. And then she reluctantly gave us some details on what happened, right? You have made reference to this chicken situation another time when the pod was closing, and that was fun. That was fun. That was sexy. That was fun. That was cute. But you see, this time you now use it against her when she didn't agree with you. And it seemed like you were justifying her reluctance to open up because, to be fair, her love life has formed a large portion of the show for like maybe like 2 weeks now, where you guys are chastising her. 1 minute she's too open and naive and foolish. The next minute she's not open enough and it's because she's jaded. You know, you guys have made a topic of it, and then you just threw in casually, chicken will get it done, because she did not agree with what was a preposterous proposition by yourself, and she didn't agree, and it just seems so callous. And I love that she tried to push back, even though she wasn't successful because she doesn't have lyrics. But I love that she tried to push back. That was cold. That was cold, Joe. I'm sorry. It was very cold.
I disagree.
No
I
lyrics is great.
totally disagree. If my memory serves right, that chicken comment came up off of the rent conversation, right?
Oh,
It did,
Yes,
yes,
Yes.
Okay, so I just look at this very differently from y'all. What T. Rankin is calling preposterous was again supposed to be a very fun, light-hearted, comedic segment. So when you say, hey, if somebody called and yada 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 with the rent, right? Now is not the time for you to be you. You are supposed to be in character, even if that means just running the play. Now we don't have time to explain to you, hey, you trust the guy. Hey, you have rapport with the guy. Hey, dog, it's a quick, fun fucking story. So now we're stopping the ball because you want to put you in real life in this bullshit, stupid equation yeah, stop. And then you want to, no. Sorry. Whatever comes to that, comes to that. But don't pick and choose when to be in character and when not to be. Because if you're not going to be in character, I'm going to be the one to say, hey, chicken was a good gesture for you. So don't tell me that this wasn't a good gesture. Sorry.
Oh my God. Chicken was a date, Joseph. Chicken was a date. She was on a date. And that whole thing, she didn't volunteer that info. It was those two niggas doing reconnaissance that came with that information.
Rankin, that part
You
you
have to
have to
explain.
stop doing. Anything that Mel don't want shared on the pod is not shared on the pod. So if they are
Okay, fine.
discussing,
Thank
so
you.
if
Exactly.
they are
Exactly.
discussing, if
I
they're
stand
if
corrected.
they are discussing her fucking personal date experience, trust me, they have spoken about, is it okay to speak about
All right.
this
Exactly.
experience?
Now,
I stand
I
corrected.
don't mean to jump in, but can I just say that? And that's the part about the Mel thing that's really starting to get under my skin. Mel is not some hopeless child on a podcast. Like, we gotta stop.
Thank
There's
you.
one thing for us to defend Mel when they get in their misogyny bag and they start doing too much. But this whole that chicken joke was funny. She said it on the pod. Like, what are we talking about? I get it. Now, the other stuff I agree with. Like, the other part about Joe cutting them off during the auntie thing, I think that was a little much. But that chicken joke, she was shocked because it was brought up, but it was funny. She said it on the pod, and they were not giving her the third degree about that man. She was happy. She started singing the fucking song. What was the song that Joe played? She started singing the lyrics to the song, saying, almost insinuating that the dude put it down in the bed.
Another time.
She
We're
was
talking
playing
about
into
another
it.
time, not the time we're
No,
discussing.
but listen, but hold on, T. Rakin, because what you're trying to do is to try to convolute the situation and make it seem as if Joe is bringing up some external information, trying to throw it in her face. I don't see it like that at all. I think, first off, they have familial relationship. Like, I don't know if any of y'all have brothers or cousins or people like that you're in relationship with. Sometimes those jokes are like, oh, I know you didn't just say that, and bring up something like that. I think what all y'all think, this is what I feel, where some of these scenarios, I think y'all think that Joe and Mel don't like each other, don't have no type of conversation. They don't know each other off the pod. And so when we get on the pod and he throws these little jabs, it's from a position of they're just coworkers. I believe they have a relationship. So if they have a relationship and you've never been in a relationship with a guy that's like not sexual, it's platonic, almost like a brother or a cousin or just something like that, they're going to throw those little jabs at you to poke at you a little bit. Sometimes it goes too far because, again, we are the audience and it seems a way. But y'all, I know y'all not about to wild out over that chicken. That chicken joke was funny because she mentioned the man cooking her jerk chicken on a first date. And it seemed as if that was something that would have gotten the job done in terms of her being with it or dealing with the guy. It was lighthearted. I'm trying to understand what are we talking about here? It was.
It certainly was meant to. It was meant to
was.
be lighthearted, but it was like
Like, what
the
are we
whole
talking about?
segment was lighthearted.
I'm sorry, it was. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Can I
Now
ask
we
a
could
question?
do it on something else, not that, because now y'all just pulling at grasping at straws at this point.
Put me down. I'm not emotionally mature enough to deal with this. King Gaslight's in the building.
I'd like to ask a question.
Take it away.
Go ahead.
You said that a lot of things were just in good fun, and if it's only fun for one person, is it really fun? Melyssa didn't look like she's having fun. Last week when you said that Ozempic shit, no one really looked like they was having fun. Kind of look like you're the only person having fun. The listener's not even having fun at this point.
Speak for yourself, dog.
Right.
I mean, this whole thing was about
If
people
there's
getting
any
upset.
of the listeners that are not having fun, cut it off.
Quick question, Joe. You don't think you went a little too far? I'm gonna give you the timestamp too because I know for a fact. I think it was like timestamp. It was the Beverly Hills Cop. I think it was 152.
Joe, can I ask you
Nigga,
something?
why you just mute me? Hello?
Nobody muted
Nobody
you.
muted you. We can hear you.
I think my phone's tweaking. My
That's
bad.
your sprint, nigga.
Yeah, my bad. I think it was like the
Joe, can I
timestamp
ask
was
you
better.
something?
Hold on real quick,
I
T
don't
Rankin.
think T
Nick
Rankin
was
can
talking.
hear Nick. Can you hear Nick talking, T Rankin?
No, I can't.
I'll move you down and bring you back. Well, Michael, you do it. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah.
All right, you don't think you went too far when you was talking about if dude you
I don't hear Nick now.
Nick, you cut out. You
Nick,
muted
you
yourself.
lost service.
Nick, walk upstairs, man. Go take the garbage. Walk outside or something.
Right. And while everybody coming back up, I just wanted to say this, and I'm gonna mute up. I'll stay on stage if you need, if I can. But I think the reality is I don't think it's all in one. I do think, Joe, sometimes you cross the line. I do think the whole jumping in when Flip and Mel were talking about the auntie thing, I do kind of agree with T-Ringer's point. It was like, all right, Joe, let them land at least, because calling them bullshit, shut the fuck up, like, I get it, that's y'all humor, but it does come off like, damn, well, it wasn't a bad statement to make. It could have been a different pivot. I don't agree with that one. I think that one was a little cringy for sure. I do think you were triggered, and I loved how Mel was giving it to you. She was like, "Ooh, you're triggered, buddy."
Wait, let me
loved
also
that.
tell the stage, I wasn't triggered. It's not real. What is
This man a
wrong with you
narcissist.
people?
Joe, she said it. We're talking about what Mel said.
It's
Mel said you
on
were
the
triggered.
show.
It was funny.
Mel doesn't
Okay.
believe that. It's oh
Well,
my
it was
God.
funny.
Let me remind
is
y'all.
it was
Y'all
funny.
also said we was wilding a few weeks ago with our Janet Jackson segment, which I thought was classic.
Hold on, we or you? I mean, we didn't. I don't think we said
In
everybody
the
was wild.
community,
Yeah, that was
y'all
funny.
said we bugged out on our Janet Jackson segment.
I
I
don't think it was more so
know.
about that.
I know.
But what's funny is back before you added Flip and Mel, y'all was joking even worse than this, and it was hilarious. Y'all kind of lighthearted these days.
Yo, dog, I just showed Mel when they posted in the fucking community or Reddit somewhere. It was her first appearance. I was like, Mel, look at your first appearance on this show. We was bugging.
When they showed her when she was drinking.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh, we need to bring this Mel back. Like, we need to get her. Well, not everybody, but some people made some comments towards that. And to be honest, that was our first introduction to Mel. And I really enjoyed her. And that was what really made me be like, we really need to get her on this show. And I feel like we're not giving Mel enough credit. Like, she's a grown woman. And all of the dogpiling sometimes is a lot. It's a lot to get through. But at the same time, I agree where a lot of it is lighthearted. If it was really too much, I think Flip mentioned even amongst you guys, he will talk about with you guys like, hey, if this is something that I shouldn't talk about, let me know and I won't. So I think that all of you guys have that respect for each other. And as long as that respect is there, again, we're all adults. Mel's a grown woman. She can handle it. Like, I think sometimes things are taken too far, but I think you guys know how to reel it in.
I own some
Can I
of
answer
that
my
though.
question?
Exactly.
Can I ask my question now, Joe, please?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, T-Rank.
Okay, so here's my question for you. You said that it's such and such is meant to be lighthearted. This is meant to be lighthearted. That's meant to be lighthearted. Do you have pre-prods where you agree on the approach that certain conversations are going to take? Because if one person isn't aware, either they're not attending those pre-production meetings or they just don't understand. Well, then it's your job to bring them up to speed, to help them understand that, this topic is going like this. This is your character. That's your character. I understand that you all have a rapport, obviously, and it's not going to be PG. I'm not interested in listening to a show that's all PG. I want to hear some jokes that make me cringe. I want to hear some adult shit. That's why I'm subscribed, right? But when it crosses the line, it is also our duty to tell you. Do you understand?
The chicken got it done is not crossing the line.
Oh, it crossed the line at all.
Joe.
At all.
Nobody's taking up for Ice, and nobody's giving nobody's saying nothing about Mel. If she's on a pod for 55 minutes and only said 2 words, that's crazy. And then for her to be like, to say the Ice is sexist, every time they come up with a woman topic, she is the woman on the pod. That's what we want to hear from. So nobody's really being real and talking about that. Everybody's floating over that, saying that Joe is wrong and everybody is misogynistic and dogpiling Mel, but nobody's speaking to the fact that she was on the pod for 55 minutes and said 2 words.
And that's to me, that's the part that's important.
I didn't hear nobody say nothing.
That's for
about
a reason,
that.
bro.
Everybody's on here talking about, oh, dogpiling Mel and this and that and the third. But nobody's talking about if she's getting paid the big bucks to sit right there next to Joe Budden and pod and do whatever she wants to do and say 2 words in 55 minutes, that's a fucking problem. If Joe gotta fucking come up with topics where he gonna plug in fucking internet sites, whatever he gotta do to do his fucking podcast outline for the day, and you talking for 2 minutes out of 55 minutes, that's a fucking problem. And then when
Exactly.
Ice comes up, right? And then when Ice wants to say somebody, you really want to take it out on Ice, that's a problem. That's a problem. Like nobody's
Man,
like
he
seeing
don't
that
be
as a problem.
he don't be talking shit about Ice at all. Like he only
I'm
person
not
he
talking
talks
about
shit
Ice. I'm
is
talking about
Flo.
Melyssa. I'm talking about Melyssa
Oh, okay,
coming at
okay.
Ice.
Yeah, bro,
Melyssa coming
it's a
at
reason
Ice,
for
like
that.
that was nasty, bro.
Hold on,
Like
let's Flip
nobody's
go real
talking
quick,
about
then
that.
Fury. Go ahead,
Yo,
Flip, then Fury.
yo,
Yeah.
y'all niggas need to go outside, bro, and get some fucking air. Y'all niggas need to go outside and get into
Some of us at work. Some of us at work.
Hold
We
on.
don't do that.
We outside.
Listen. Y'all niggas need to shut the fuck up, nigga. You bitch ass nigga.
We
Don't talk to me.
outside.
Y'all niggas.
I'm
I'm on
outside.
my way down. I'm on my way downtown Brooklyn. I bet I slap you in your mouth today.
I'm here, right?
I'm in Jersey. Fuck out of here.
Okay,
Suck my
I
dick.
have
Suck my
removed
dick,
them from
nigga.
the stage. I have
Suck-
removed them from
Yeah.
the stage. There's no one
He's
there.
pussy. I'm on my way right now. Nigga. I'm gonna record it. He's pussy,
There's
nigga.
no one there anymore.
He be trying to hold on. He be trying to act me that I'm cool. I'm not cool with that nigga. I'ma smack you in your mouth, nigga.
Who you talking about?
You talking about
Nigga, I'ma
Dub?
smack
Dub.
Dub in your mouth, nigga. In your mouth. I got the camera right now. As soon as I'm finished with luxury, hold on, let me finish. As soon as I'm finished with Luxury Motors, I'm coming to Brooklyn to go see my 2 sisters. Whatever part you in, please DM me. Stop cracking jokes. I don't fuck with you. Don't at me in videos. Don't talk to me. Yo, Flip, this is where I'm at. I want to speak to you. Once we get to see each other face to face, then I'll talk to you on the internet. Stop playing with me. That's to him. Other than that,
Okay,
Wait, what the fuck?
Mute that nigga's mic.
man, fine. Yeah, pussy. Y'all niggas is ass. A lot of y'all niggas need to go outside. Actually, Mel, you know, we fuck with Mel. Mel is family. I feel like a lot of y'all niggas watch this shit and y'all become too invested emotionally. Y'all always trigger me. Man, go outside, man. Call your cousin up. Call your brother up, your sister up. Go hang out. Feel what it's like to have siblings that can tell you and pull you up on something that you may be doing outside. It just so happens that we talk about it on the podcast. And if Mel is, I don't like the fact that niggas is talking about Mel not talking. Mel, obviously, if she's not speaking, she's obviously going through something. And it's our job as her brothers to fill in for her. Like, that's our job. We have bad days. I have a bad day. I have a lot of fucking bad days and niggas feeling for me. She has bad days. I'm not going to ridicule her for that. Whatever it was, she may have been going through something. She may have been, like, something mentally. She have her days. So we shouldn't hold that against her. But also, as far as dogpiling, Mel is our family. She's fine. She can speak up. She will speak up if she feels something is disrespectful or something is not proper. Y'all niggas is too invested in other niggas' lives. Nigga, go outside, go jerk off or something, or get some ass, or fuck. Do something.
But Flip.
That's crazy.
I can't believe that there's some of y'all out there that didn't love that chicken line. That was hilarious.
No,
I'm not
I thought it
over
was
that.
hilarious.
nah,
I
but
started this space because y'all ain't gonna turn my good pod day into a bad pod day for Joe. Joe was grumpy. I hate when Joe was in his mood. Joe was in the greatest mood ever. Fuck y'all.
nah, but Joe,
Well-
you don't think it's like a conflict of interest for you to be producing the pod at this point? Like if Mel not even speaking and you kind of having an amazing time, you don't see like the kind of conundrum in that in a sense?
But I just have a question. If there's
So do
6
I.
people there, why are we worried about one person not speaking? It's 6.
Because
Exactly.
because Mel's the
If it's a
only
three- hold
woman,
on.
so it's
Hold
like
on
if
a
if
second.
it's like
But
a bro
who
pod.
cares? No, she's a woman. So what? Why are y'all always so focused on trying to be the woman critiquer?
Because that's why she's
Let's just
there.
go with
She's
the
there
vibe
as
and
a
agree. No,
woman's
that's
voice.
not why she's there.
Then what is she
Right.
there
No,
for?
she's
To not talk? That's crazy.
Exactly.
No, for 1 hour.
I think
Y'all are crazy as shit. Like, what are y'all talking about? This be the problem right here.
Can I-
It's a 3-hour pod, and y'all worried about 50 minutes and her sitting there. Now, if they bring it up and she don't say nothing, yeah, but she don't talk ever.
that ain't true.
Like,
Right.
okay, we get it, we understand. I'm not saying that it would, like Flip just said, if it was a moment, it was awkward. Okay, cool. But y'all don't skip a moment to find a way to talk about Mel. Y'all are not you specifically, but the niggas that always Mel. Y'all are obsessed at this point. Let the girl have a pod. Let her have an off pod. Let her do whatever. Like at the end of the day, if Joe brings it up and it becomes comical or he tries to sway it or move it, like cool. But are half y'all even patrons? because y'all will know Mel be talking a lot during the Patreons. This may have been one pod on a Wednesday or a Saturday or Friday or whatever. That's a little off. Mel sometimes carries certain Patreons where they're talking for 3 hours there.
The easiest,
But no, we don't
the
know that.
easiest way to,
Ain't nobody
the
subscribed.
easiest way to
that's
tell
true.
to me is look when Joe's not on the pod and look at Mel's demeanor. That's the easiest way to tell. Like to me, it's a conflict of interest. Joe is coming up with the content and then curating it for them to do it. Obviously, she's not interested. Like you could tell. How you figure?
No, that's not true.
If somebody's on a podcast,
That's not true.
Okay, I'm muting you because that's not true. Joe is not coming up with shit and then forcing this content out of y'all want to make me evil content devil at all costs. I get it. I got it. But that's not happening.
That is not true at all.
So
not true.
So how does she sit around for that long just not saying shit? That doesn't make sense.
She's going through something. She's probably going through something.
And why she ain't take the day off?
Because things happen in real time. Nigga,
Wait,
one time.
But wait,
Listen, hold on.
Let
me say something. Hold on, wait. Let me say something about personal experience. One time, I got a message about my family member while I was sitting on a chair. It happens in real time and it changes your mood. Joe would take a break. Yo, do you want to take the day off? Do you want to go home? And to be a team player, I'll say no. But then I sit back down and it's up to me to shift it back into gear. It happens real time.
I just have to say
Right, I agree.
Too, though. There have been 1,000,001 episodes where Ish will sit for 50 minutes and not say nothing either. Y'all never say nothing.
Talk about it. I
have sat here and watched Ish sit and stay silent for episodes, and y'all say nothing about Ish. Why is it always Mel? And then the resolve is she needs to go. I don't get it. There are times where the moment is not for them. It's okay. And of course, it may not make the best pod, quote unquote, but I also feel like shit, it's summer. Niggas is in there just to make sure we get something going. To me, I wasn't offended by nothing Joe said. All I said was it felt like a Monday pod instead of a Wednesday. I mean, but it's also the middle of fucking July. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to be there. I'm not mad.
Hey, yo, let me say one thing.
That's what hold up, Flip, because you made a good fucking point. You know what that fucking whiteboard said? Yeah, fuck these niggas. Now I'm mad. That whiteboard said game and auntie and some other bullshit.
Did she put the beating
music,
up in
nothing
Queens?
fun. It was 3 bullshit topics that nobody cared about. I pulled a rabbit out of my ass, you fucking integrates.
No, you did.
Tell me about some
but they don't want to say this because I went outside and I said, yo, salute to you because you really picked it up. Right outside, mid-break, nigga.
Yeah,
mid-break.
what?
Salute to you picking it up. I know we kind of off and shit like that. Let me say this about Ish, because Ish can speak for himself. What Ish thing is this. Niggas be complaining a lot. Niggas complain about when Ish talk about certain topics. So what Ish shows you is that his voice is as powerful when he's quiet. So I'm going to show you niggas. Y'all keep complaining that when I speak about Kendrick and when I speak about this, I'm hating and I'm fucking changing the mood. So now I'm going to stay quiet. It's damn if you do and damn if you don't. And let me just.
Even his silence is loud.
Yeah, it's very loud. He's just showing you that. That's the power of his voice. And I'm going to tell you this. Me and Mel a package, nigga. Mel ain't going nowhere. We not going nowhere. Yeah. Me and Mel a package, nigga. We got here at the same time. Mel you could just tell. If you guys are fans, like you say you are, just watch. Look at the mood. Look at it. Nobody did nothing. We come inside. Joe I would say this, I give him credit. He tells us to get there a half an hour early. I'm late. And I'm right around the corner. I can say that. Like sometimes I get he have to brush it off. He brushed it off because he see me like he already warned me, yo, Flip. Come on. I'm right around the corner, nigga. I'm near.
Don't make him dock that pay, Flip.
Say it again.
I said, don't make him dock that pay, Flip.
I mean, yeah, but what I'm saying is that he tell us, yo, come in early so we could do pre-production. Everybody's there. Cool. Flip come in. I come in. I'm like, yo, all right. Let me see what I can do and get it together. So he puts up with a lot of shit. I'm not going to take any credit from him. He doesn't curate anything. He lets us know, like, yo, y'all niggas need to come together. Write on the board. I need everybody to write on the board of things that you've experienced or things that you cherish. Things that is whatever, however he says. It's some stupid shit, some ill line. But we go there and then sometimes we write, sometimes we don't. Mel, she sits down. She may get a text. She may be in a mood or something. And by being a team player, she shows up. She just show up. I gotta be here. I gotta work. I'm at the job. But sometimes she's experienced something. If you watch it closely, you can see that obviously Mel is going through something. There's not nothing that any of us did. We did nothing to her.
Nigga, Mel is fine, and it's the summertime. The end.
True, but yeah,
that's it. Nobody feel like coming to work and fucking breaking nothing down with you niggas.
No, nigga, because you believe in not giving everybody everything. That's your bag, so you're gonna say that. People go
No,
through
I'm
things,
telling you that I've been prepared for the summertime slack off since May. I've been saying it.
Yeah,
and
but
y'all niggas think I'm just talking.
But don't call it.
He said it.
Don't call
I'm
it slack
all the
off,
way
Joe.
in my bag. I don't give a fuck how niggas show up. I'm here to cook. I'm cooking. That's it.
Why you call it the summertime slack off?
Because it's true. I mean, that's what it. That's everybody. It ain't just
the last picture.
Nah, because I remember last summer when it ended up being Joe Parks and who was that?
Yeah, come on, man.
I remember that. Listen, the summer it gets shaky.
It gets sticky in the summer.
I'm sorry. I don't have no problem with it. I see it. To me, I said it in a space earlier or yesterday. I said this Wednesday was the Mondayest pod I've ever seen. I wasn't necessarily a fan, but I wasn't offended. Like, I think some of these offensive angles, I'm not getting it. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm being insensitive. I don't know. But it just seemed like a Monday pod. And then when y'all ain't got really much to talk about, you start getting into the inside joke bag and Joe talking about the not your bed. I thought that, first off, see, we've already talked about this before. Mel is not an arguer. She's not a debater like that, especially when it comes to certain topics. What Joe could have used in that moment when he's talking about that bed is just like, if y'all want to say a female voice, I hate saying that, but if it was, someone to argue back and forth about that. She wasn't going to do it. So I don't think he was attacking. I just think Joe was just like, he was talking about some nigga stuff. This is what the dudes be feeling.
Yeah, it was
what they were saying.
time. I wasn't talking to Mel.
I'm standing on 10. I'm standing on 10. I didn't like the auntie thing. I think that was a little disrespectful. But other than that, I didn't see it. Now I'm telling y'all really got to explain the chicken thing. That is going over my head in such a way. I really don't understand.
Okay, wait.
What y'all
Listen to. Let's set it up for you nicely, right? Here's the chicken thing, and obviously now that we're explaining it, it has to catch you unawares for you to really deep it properly. Do you understand? Joe asked Mel, if a nigga pays your rent for a month, what would happen? Paraphrasing. She goes, oh, well, I think there might be an ulterior motive, so I'm going to say no. I don't really want to do that. Flip says, he expands Joe's position. And then Joe says, don't worry, we can't really have this conversation because there's too many lies. Flip then says, okay, but what do you want to hear from her? And then he goes, no, there's too many lies. And nigga paying your rent and you won't be grateful. Anyway, chicken gets it done. As per
Rankin, you are misrepresenting my position. I just want to clear it up before you continue.
What was your position? Was that she's telling lies because she will not accept a month's rent from a nigga that she sort of knows is up. That's what I heard. And then the next time you went into the conversation,
but that's not. But wait, I have to clarify my position before you continue.
Okay,
because that's not what I said. I did the slowest kickball pitch to a podcaster you could ever do. I said, if a man that you know and have rapport with, you speak to this person, he is already in your life. If he were to pay your rent for the next 3 months, would you be kinder to that person? That was the question.
I don't know. I have to go back and listen. I don't know because that's not how I heard it.
I said this man has no expectations. I wasn't trying to corner her into some escort answer. This man has no expectations. He doesn't want nothing from you. You just got a random call. I have to explain that this is just like a fun, lighthearted topic.
Okay,
you're saying?
Joe, we have to pick this back up on Saturday because I need to go back and listen. I'm not crazy. I listened to it and I was shocked when you said chicken get it. Sorry, let me just finish your name, please. I was shocked when you said chicken gets it done. Joe, I promise you, I was legit shocked. I couldn't believe that was your response to her position. Now, I'd like to think I've got a broad sense of humor, so it's not like I thought, Joe's not funny. But that response, and from QueenzFlip's response, he said, "Oh, Joe, he got up and walked around the thing." You can say it's production, but even in production, the
No,
audience,
character, not
yeah, okay,
production.
sorry, character. You can say
It's
it's a
two
character.
people in character.
Okay, but even then, the audience can receive what you're saying as they do, right? Even when y'all are in character. Now,
I
I
know,
want
but
to.
then I don't go to the two people that were in character after the scene and say, "Hey, slow down on the character." I go to the person that's not in character and say, "Why are you not
Okay,
in
but
character?"
Joe, do you not see that there is some kind of discord here? If bare people, I mean, if a lot of people are commenting on the same thing, that there is actually something here to be seen or like examined. If a lot of people are saying this specific thing about this chicken segment.
Yeah, when people are purposely choosing to feel like a person is a
Purposely
wounded puppy.
obtuse.
Like you
Exactly.
got, like people are continuously making it seem like Mel can't hold her all she can.
Exactly.
So if there is a huge audience that is saying that this person is, oh, woe is me, oh my God, they attack her so much. Anything that you can find to be, a part of your argument, you're going to use it, so it's like, I feel like y'all don't look at these pods as like TV shows. Like y'all look at it and be trying to dissect every single negative thing possible.
Exactly.
It's like to say one or two things is fine, but it's like it's a constant, oh my God, why would Joe do this? Oh my God, why did Mel do this? Oh my God,
Yeah,
why?
I
It's
agree
just
with
like,
Jonas. Like, art is
relax.
open for
Yeah.
interpretation. So if you're listening to it and feeling like it's mean, then it's mean. But that ain't what's
Right.
going on
And
up
it's
there.
also
The
and it's
pods
also
are
narrative driven.
oh,
It's very much so narrative driven. So at the end of the day, if we're talking about the narratives that have been placed, the reality is Mel is this hopeless romantic. She can't find a man, and you guys are poking fun at her dating scenario. First off, Mel got up there and talked about it. Mel talks about it. There are a million and one things that Mel does not talk about. Like, we have to understand, we don't know her. There's a lot we do not know. And so what we do know, we take it and act as if they're trying to weaponize it against her. That was a joke. First, I'm still not getting the joke because
let's leave the joke
what
alone.
happened with the chicken part, Mel actually said, "Oh, I wouldn't take the money from the guy because I feel like he would want something, and there may be an ulterior motive." And so Joe was like, I think what I was picking up on the joke was Joe was like, "Girl, please, you don't be thinking that deep. You definitely have had men that have paid for things for you because you're a baddie." Like that, to me, that's how I thought the joke was geared towards, is you're a baddie, not trying to sell her short and say she's something else. That's what I was thinking initially. And then when she was doubling down, saying, "No, I would never, the whole girl chicken got it
You
done
were
was the
kinder
joke.
to the man that
You were
made
kinder,
chicken.
they gave you chicken." Like, I'm like, okay, that was funny. Flip walking around the table was because, oh shit, he said it. Like, it was kind of one of those things. Mel with her mouth gaped wide open, like, oh my God. And then she kept saying, chicken didn't get it done. Chicken, that was
didn't
a
get
long,
done.
it was chicken didn't get it done. It was just
That shit was
funny.
mad
And
funny.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
understand
it
where
was
we
very
saw
funny.
Man,
offense.
that shit was funny.
Where did we see offense
I
at?
think too many people in the JBP universe have PTSD from the old pod, and they
Yes.
will always try to find something and look for something and think something is all this emotional.
Yes.
Dog, it's not the old pod. This is a new cast. It's not even a new cast because they've been around for a while, but we're going to say it's a new cast, right? It's been a new cast for almost 2+ years, whatever. Please stop projecting that old negative energy on the cast. They are good. They have different communication because of what happened before. If they're doing something in front of our faces on the pod, it is not what it was before. It is much, much different, and they're good with it. They're adults. They're grown. A lot of them have been doing content longer than the other podcasters. Actually, like Flip and Mel have been doing content and are in the content world for way longer than the other two in different ways. Stop projecting that energy and dragging us into these conversations about nothing.
Well, let me.
I agree with some of that. And
I do
to
too.
expound on something earlier that Flip said, I want y'all to know, if anybody, not just Mel, if anybody steps in there looking a little off of their normal game, the option is presented to them to go home.
That's a fact.
I was just about to ask that.
Everybody.
That's a fact.
I've
Think
stepped
about
to
how many
everybody in
days
there. except for
about
parts.
how many days do we wake up and we don't want to go to work? Like most days
All
I
the
wake up, I
time.
don't want to go to work, but
All the
I'm
time.
here.
Hey,
All
So
the time.
but here's the
And
thing.
especially in the summer.
Exactly. Yeah.
If we feel Joe not looking too right, we tell him to go home. He say, all right or no. It's an option that we all give each other. He opened that space. Yo, if you don't feel good, go home. I don't want this type of, I don't want you to be forced to do anything. Go get some rest. Go clear your thoughts and come back the next work day. He always gives us that option. And a lot of us is like, nah, I'm a team player. I'm going to sit through it. That's what I say.
Let
And
Bruce
then,
go and then Breeze. Bruce has been up here for a little while.
Oh, what's
Speak
good?
and Breeze.
So, I have pros and cons about Mel specifically. Um, I do think I think Mel intelligently picks times where she doesn't talk because, like, sports or anything, she feels like she can't give like a good input on. So I appreciate that from Mel. Outside of that, I think Joe has had jokes, lighthearted jokes that are kind of somewhat serious sometimes about Mel not saying much that could have value or not talking at all, which is why I think the audience kind of like hinges on that a little too much. So it might be putting this subconscious thing in the crazy JBB community. But I appreciate Mel when she doesn't talk because Flip does it too. Flip picks his time not to talk, and I'd be like, damn, I ain't heard Flip in a whole hour. And I don't have a problem with it. So I think what Mel's doing is very strategic, and I don't really see an issue with her.
We love Duke
especially
Cast.
when it's
What's the
5
difference?
other people that can speak.
Facts. And they all pick
Thank
times
That's
to
the
not to
whole
talk.
point.
And I think this pod has gotten a little more serious than when I started watching back when I started when Afterthoughts was around. So I was coming for the jokes every day when it was 3 times a week. These days, it's gotten a little too serious for me in the JBB community. Do I have things I don't like? Sure. But I hit that skip button a lot to kind of get me past that. So I just create a whole think piece for me.
Right. And if I could say this, and then I'm gonna mute up because I'm almost to work, but y'all gotta tuck y'all misogyny a little bit more, because if I hear another man say, well, she's up there, what is she doing? She needs to be doing something. It's giving very much so. You're here for a reason. You need to be cooking, cleaning, or doing something to prove your value. And at the end of the day, there is not a value proving contest with Mel and Mel only. First off, if Joe ain't like, the jokes are jokes, let them be jokes. But y'all, a lot of people, y'all need to tuck that misogyny, because y'all keep trying to make Mel the proving grounds of why she's here. She's a woman. She needs to be, okay, tuck it in, because we know what y'all are saying and we know what you mean by it. And her being a quote unquote a pretty face, just showing up to work, is giving a little bit too much. Like, can we let it rest at this point? There's going to be moments, like everybody said, there's going to be hot, there's going to be cold. It's a podcast of 6 freaking people. Joe has had bad pods. Mel has had bad pods. Flip has had bad pods. Ice-ish. The only person that don't really have bad pods is Parks, because, Parks is just, he's a role player and he kind of fills in where he can and does his move. But every time Mel has something, it's always this proving her value and her worth and all. I'm getting about, it's getting a little old, y'all. Like, I think at this point we can be critical of her. She's not above criticism, but y'all need to tuck that misogyny, because it always becomes this, what's her worth? What is she doing here? Isn't that the purpose? No, she's a freaking pod member, woman or man. She's there to have perspective on whatever this perspective is. Y'all got to relax a little bit.
And I agree with Jonay as well, and then I will mute up, because the point of it is, or like the bottom line is, when you have 5 other people that can speak and somebody is having an off day, I ain't gonna hold you. That's when I'm really looking to see what the pod is made of. Like, okay, let's pivot. If Flip is off, okay, Joe, let me see what you're gonna do to try to, add whatever to the pod, or Ish, Ice, whoever, Parts, whoever. And I just feel like people just focus on Mel so much, and it is so annoying.
Very
It's 5 other
annoying.
people that can speak.
And they said on the pod like 2 months ago, maybe 3, that she takes the joke the best, and everyone agreed on the pod. And I think in the community, we kind of was like, yeah, low key, she takes the joke the best.
Yep.
So if the person who takes the joke the best has a joke now, what's the problem? And what we talking about?
Nigga, if y'all gonna
And
be
it's
hard
high
on,
key. It's not
if y'all
low key at
if
all.
y'all gonna be if y'all gonna be hard on Mel, then be hard on Flip too. Because just as much as Mel don't really got to do nothing sitting up there, to be honest with you. Her
Flip.
name says
That's crazy.
her name says what her name is. Her name, like, come on. She's been in all the rap songs. She's been in mad videos. Come on, if she sits up there for 50 minutes, if she sat up there for 2 hours, so what?
So she literally
So
just there as like
Exactly.
literally just there as like a trophy piece, just to like.
So what? It's
Well,
Mel Ford.
I'm
Mel
just
Ford
asking.
will be
I'm
A
just asking.
trophy piece?
But hold on, but this is the problem. That's why I said you gotta tuck that misogyny because we're acting like she's never said anything.
Right.
So
Mel
do
has
you
had
call
I'm not-
Ish a trophy when you
upset
be quiet, serious?
conversations.
Is Ish a trophy for you?
No, because
thing.
we
Now
know.
she's a trophy piece.
All right. We starting to talk over topic. Get a little bit of order. And let's just remember, she did lead the next following topic right after that about the man getting beat up, by the mob. So can't act like she ain't do nothing.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I know Mel be giving her 2 cents, but it's just like, yo, when you look at if you flipped it, if it was a podcast full of 5 women and 1 man and the dude never said shit, you'd be feeling like, what the fuck is going on? So that's all it is. It's like, yo, you want to hear a woman's opinion on the pod. That's just all it is. You're hearing 5 guys' opinions, and I fuck with it. I like the barbershop talk, but at the end of the day, chime in, say something. How does a woman feel on this topic? And that's it. It doesn't matter. I know y'all want to say man, woman, whatever, child. It don't matter like that. I'm thinking like, oh, what does a woman think on this topic? And if she's fully mute, that somewhat means she might be uncomfortable. Or like, damn, step off camera then. Like, isn't that easier?
No, y'all are a sign, but that's a sign of furious. I get what you're saying, and I don't think that that's a bad position, but that's assigning something that's not there. You're assigning discomfort when she's silent. It could just mean some people, and she's already said this, when I don't know enough or when I don't know if I really feel that my opinion makes sense in this moment, I'm going to be quiet. That's Mel's way of navigating. She also said, I get in my head about certain things. So sometimes I could be processing in the moment or overthinking. That is a Mel thing. That's not a pod thing. That's not a woman thing. That's not a job function thing. I just think that's her personality. And we have to start, if we're going to be people that enjoy the pod, we have to start just accepting people for who they are and what they're showing us. Mel has been in this situation. There's been highs and lows, whatever. But I get your point, but I also feel like she doesn't have to continue to qualify herself. We don't need 6 opinions on every topic because then we have a 5-hour
Yeah,
pod.
you're
There's
making my
some
point. You
2
got 5
opinions.
niggas talking and 1 woman shutting the fuck up. That's what I'm saying. Like, one dude can talk and let the woman get off. Like, it's 5 dudes and one, like,
Right,
so.
but
But
she
you're
might,
acting
right, I
like
get what you're saying, but I'll mute up. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Duna.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say you're acting like it's every single topic, every single day. These folks talk almost every fucking day. Okay, they pump out so much fucking content. At some point, I was just thinking to myself, like, do they ever think to themselves, like, damn, I don't know what to say? Like, they talk so much, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's just so unfair to place that on Mel every other topic or every couple of topics. Maybe she doesn't have anything to say. I think it's a great point to point out everybody has had that pod day at some point in time within the past 2 years they've been here. So I really don't understand the coming down heavy specifically on Mel.
Specifically to this one thing. I watched the pod. I know Mel get her shit off, but it's just looking at the dynamics of it in this specific thing. I know y'all kind of taking it broad, but I'm just looking specifically at what's going on in this last pod.
Okay, so just on this last pod. So because of the last pod, now it's an overwhelming consumption from you that Mel is not worth being on the pod anymore. Because on the last
I never
pod,
said that. I never said that.
Okay, so clarify, because you said it's not general. So let's bring it to a specific.
No, I'm just looking at if you're a podcaster, that means you can talk well, you can clearly communicate thought. Like, even if it's a joke, even if it's a park one-liner, you could throw something in there, but to completely be mute and on camera, it just doesn't look right from a pod perspective.
Flip
That's all it is.
Can we just
why does it matter?
Flip has done
podcast.
a great job. Flip has done a great job with him kind of like just upping his game, bringing even more value. And we did miss him. So it kind of proved to us that we did need Flip and we do love Flip for the ones that kind of had something against him for a little bit.
So why y'all not on Flip
Flip was
ass?
crazy
But
too. Y'all was
But
crazy for that too.
No, but
I
that's
have
but what
I
I'm
have a
saying
question
is
though.
how are you going to say that about Mel when we just went through this same fucking shit with Flip?
Yeah, we said it. We
Everybody
said
was
it with
saying the
Flip.
same shit about Flip. So can we not extend grace?
Hey yo, Mel and I is a package deal. Period. Y'all
Nah,
niggas need
man,
to
you
put
on
pictures
you on
on.
an island, bro. You by
Nah,
yourself.
nigga. Y'all
Mel,
niggas is going hard
How
on
you gonna
Mel.
tell him?
Mel and I is a package deal, nigga. Mel go, I go, nigga.
Nah,
Period.
you on an island, brother.
Wait, how the hell y'all going hard on Mel, but Flip missed mad days? Get the fuck out of here.
We went
That's
hard on
my whole
Flip too. You
point.
missed some of the
Get the
spaces,
fuck
bro.
out
We
of
went
here.
hard
They
on
be
Flip.
wilding in here,
We
yo.
thought
They
Flip
really
quit.
wilding.
Well, I have a question. Can I
Thought
get
Flip
serious?
quit.
Are you do you have the Patreon or just it don't have to be what tier, but do you watch the Patreon episodes ever?
Yeah. I'm a Patreon member.
Okay. So do you see like some of like the Monday and the Friday pods
Yeah, I see.
and you still have that same
I see
stance?
all of
That's
it.
what I'm
Yeah, I'm
asking
just
you.
speaking
Like,
directly to
It's
this
crazy.
one. Like, y'all don't have to bring
No
up all,
tear shaming.
y'all don't have to bring up every last
well, I'm
episode.
gonna
All I'm
see.
speaking to is this
We
last
not
one,
gonna
bro.
we
Because
we
So
not
if
gonna
you're only
How can
speaking
you
to
not
that
when we
because
one
talking
pod,
about
how are you drawing such a conclusion from one pod?
Yeah,
it's
that's
You're
what I'm
easy
like.
to
really only
it's
One
easy
speaking
to
about
tell,
one
bro.
pod.
If it was Mel just by herself and she sat mute for 55 minutes, wouldn't you just cut the shit off?
that's not what the fuck
There
is
are
the
plenty of
case.
podcasts
You
out there. If
missing
you
the
watch when they
point.
have guests, the guests or something may not speak. So again, if you're only talking about one pod and not using your history of watching pods, how do you draw that conclusion?
Because it's easy to tell when somebody's uncomfortable on camera. It's not that hard to tell. Like if
That's
She's
one
not
pod,
uncomfortable
bro.
on
you
One
don't have, I don't
pod.
have to use the word uncomfortable. Let's not play semantics. If somebody is mute on a podcast, an audio experience, what does that mean? Does that not mean
You're
anything?
dragging it.
I'm
You're
just
dragging
asking.
it.
I'm
You're
just asking
dragging it.
questions
that
because
does
it's
no.
because a
period.
lot of y'all are
And
taking the
that's what
same position as Joe, and I get it. It's a lot of Joe Vengers on stage. I'm just giving y'all the opposite
That
side.
has nothing
my
to do with
God.
it.
Here
Now
we
you're sounding
go.
lame.
I
See,
wanna know the
that's where it
You
turns
gotta
into
dig into
weird
the science.
because
You gotta dig into the science.
Sometimes y'all gotta let people down the hill. He going down that hill.
You
It's
gotta
okay.
let it. You gotta
Just
dig
Yeah,
I'm
into
just
the
taking the
he
science.
other
gon'
position because I see what I see. A lot of y'all don't see it. Y'all on the other side. I get it. I get
You
it.
on that hill by yourself.
Mel is a great podcaster. Cool. I give it to y'all. But at the end of the day, if somebody sits mute, Flip ish, Mel, whoever it is, Ice. When Ice did it, we would crap.
So
People
what
were
would you like
trashing
to
Ice for
happen?
months.
What would you like to happen to Mel then? What is your stance as to what should happen
I'm
as
just
far as
saying,
getting a
all it
podcaster
is
on the
if
pod?
you really cooking, you gonna chime in at least every 5 minutes. You gonna say something.
Okay, so she wasn't cooking last pod. So she wasn't. Okay, so what does that mean now?
Then now it's like, okay, you under the microscope. What's gonna happen next pod? I'm sure people are
Nah,
gonna pay
Okay,
attention.
under the
Whose
microscope off
microscope?
one
Hey,
pod.
okay,
as
and then
someone
when
who
she pop
watches a
off on the
pod,
next
I'm
pod,
gonna
then
put her
what?
under the microscope. I'm looking at what she's gonna do next pod because that's
nah.
how it is. It's like
Period.
it's like a basketball game.
No.
If you drop fucking 3 points,
But
I'm gonna see if you drop 30 the next game. I'm not just gonna be like, oh, keep dropping 2 and 1. Like, come on.
Oh, but it's not up
Oh
to
my God, can
you.
I say
No.
something?
No. Wait, girl.
but serious question. How many times? How many times? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just ask him once. Furious. Who do you think, as a female podcaster, that you think is dope? Give me that answer. Then that'll give me a little bit more of what you're trying to say. Because if you tell me who you think is dope as a podcaster outside of the Joe Budden podcast, that'll give me a little bit more
Who
explanation.
I
you
think that's a good
asking?
question. I think
Who you
in,
asking?
in this
Furious.
same
Okay.
space, Poor Minds is good, and then outside of this space, Candace Owens is solid. She knows what she's talking about in the sense of just getting her shit off.
Oh,
And that's
You can't
about
even-
it. Damaris,
You can't put.
it's not a lot of
No,
female. It's not
let
a
him
lot of
cook,
female
let him cook.
podcasters out there like that. It's really
You
not.
can't put none of them next to Mel. Come on now.
Nah,
You can't do that.
stop. It's not.
All right, y'all. You gotta let Breeze go as well. Be patient.
I just want to say, I think that overall the plot is being missed. This is entertainment. It's entertainment. These real time think pieces are becoming an issue because you have people that want to play the content by contrarian role on purpose to clip and give alternative opinions to drive opinions and narratives that don't even exist. Like we see the game. It's been going on for quite some time, and they ain't even low no more. It's like, come on, man. You giving a point that don't even make sense. Like, did you even think of it before you decide to spew that out? Like, you clip stuff and do all this other stuff and then say, this is how I feel. Okay, cool. And also, we don't have to make everything a dang on a therapy session. You either like the content or you don't. Like,
Who is this,
it's okay.
Barry White?
Bro, Joe started the space for feedback, brother. It's okay. He started the space for feedback. It's
I'm
okay,
giving my
brother.
opinion just like
Hey, yo,
yours.
Facts.
yo,
Giving
hold
my
on.
Hey, hold
opinion.
on.
Hey,
Flip want to ISO with you,
WBLS,
Breeze.
nigga. WBLS. This nigga.
This
You all right,
nigga
nigga?
voice is different. He's different.
Yeah, soothing ass voice. Pause, nigga. You good?
This
Nigga?
Yo,
nigga
Flip,
came
you
on
like
and
Pause.
his
said
voice?
therapy.
You think his voice is smoothing?
His voice is he has a
y'all,
soothing voice.
y'all love jokes until I get in my bag, so
I'm
y'all
gonna
might
just
want to
say
keep
this
it
before I
cute.
have to go back to work. A lot of people be on Mel, but I don't understand it because it goes farther than just giving critique or their own opinion. Because fucking Ish was on a pod with his hand in his hoodie plenty of times, not saying shit. I don't see
Thank
y'all
you.
giving the same energy. Like, especially during that Drake and Kendrick situation, he wasn't saying shit.
I don't want to hear
It's
nothing,
really
nigga.
just
No, but
Saying it the
furious.
no,
whole
but I
time.
want to. But that's the question I was gonna ask Furious, just because again, I'm interested. I get Breeze, I get your point. But how many minutes did Ish speak this pod in the first 50 minutes?
He had that one time when he was telling the story about his being blocking people on Instagram. So that's sort of what took up a good portion.
Okay, so aside from that, outside of us, that was a 2-minute
It,
conversation. So in the first hour and a half to 2 hours, how much time, Furious
so the th-
specifically, did we see Ish
so the
speak?
thing about it is, and I'm not clocking time like that. That's nasty. Somebody said the 55 minutes, so I understand it, but it's
Oh
not.
Lord.
But Ish is the B mic. Like
Man,
we all
this
know.
nigga.
How you not clocking time
Okay,
but
But
bro.
Furious,
Okay.
hold
Like
on,
yeah,
hold
these
on, y'all.
Guys, let's be respectful. We'll let him answer this, and then we'll try to cycle through more hands. Go ahead, Furious. And then I'm cycle.
Yeah, I want him to get his shit
that
off
shit
because
is
I
crazy.
he
How
can
y'all?
answer it direct.
Double mute.
I'm still not quite sure I understand the shit that Furious is trying to get off.
Me neither.
I don't know either. That's why I'm
It's a
asking
bunch
him.
Content
of
by
bullshit what
contrarian.
he
Because he
trying to get
can't get it
up. That's
off.
what it
Content
is.
by
But wait, hold on.
contrarian.
But hold
No,
on,
All right, go
y'all.
ahead. Let
all
Hold
him
I'm
on,
speak.
y'all.
saying,
Let him
Hold
Joe,
on,
speak.
all
y'all.
I'm saying,
Hold
Joe, is
on.
when you produce the pod and then you see the shit kind of going left, and I get it. You the godfather of this shit. You could rework it and master it to come back to life. I get it. But when somebody on the pod who you're paying sits there quiet and mute, how many days can they get that off? As a podcaster, that's all I'm
But
asking. And Ish is a hold on,
Furious,
Jonay. Hold on,
can you
Jonay.
ask the
Hold on,
question
Jonay.
though,
I'm speaking to
please?
Joe. You know, men are talking. I'm being in
Okay.
my misogyny bag right now.
Whoa.
Oh
Hey
my
yo,
God.
Joe.
Get the fuck
Furious.
out of
Oh,
here.
Hey yo,
Furious.
Joe.
Furious.
My
Wow.
bad. I'm
Whoa.
fucking with you, Jonay. I'm fucking with you, Jonay. I'm fucking with you. No.
And the chicken line was bad, y'all think? Huh.
Nah, that was niggas ain't even do definitions for Mel words in the last 2 years, and niggas hate them. Come on now.
But nah, just
Furious,
go.
I'll answer your question. I think I understand what you're asking now. Anybody up there, if they feel like they want to be quiet for however many episodes in a row, they're entitled to do that. It's inconsequential. Was that your question?
Yeah, but how does that work though? Like, how does that contractually work when they're up there paid to talk?
It works, nigga. It works.
That's not your
Come on,
business.
Flip. You took off 2 months, bro. We gotta chill, bro. Like, stop it.
Yo, why they keep adding mad time on Flip, yo? Leave Flip. I'm happy he back. Leave that nigga alone.
Flip went on a sabbatical,
We are
bro.
very
Like, come
happy Flip
on.
is
I've
back.
never seen a sabbatical on a podcast.
Yeah.
You're breaking up, Flip.
We can't
We
hear you,
couldn't hear
Flip.
you. We couldn't hear you.
Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah.
Let me know. All right, listen. I didn't go on the break by choice. Okay? So keep that in mind. Stop bringing that shit up. I was asked to sit down because of my behavior and my conduct. Period. I didn't go by choice, nigga. I didn't say, yo, let me take this month off or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. No. The guy in charge, the boss, said, yo, I need you to sit down because what's going to happen. Accepted it. That's it. So when y'all keep bringing that up, it doesn't make sense. It's not a choice. It wasn't a choice.
That's peace.
But we are happy you are back.
But I have one more thing to say real quick, y'all, if y'all can hear me. I don't know, because I'm in this dead zone.
We can hear
I
you.
just can't wait till Joe and Ian put the tier where you can see the pre-production tier going on and understand how how things happen. I just can't wait. I can't wait that he just put something like that so you can see the behind the scenes, the BTS. Can't wait. And they've been playing with the idea, pause. And I just hope that they go through with it. So you guys can see and you guys can just shut the fuck up. Some of you
Shit. If they saw that, man, listen.
They're gonna go even crazier.
These niggas think I'm the evil podcast devil now. Because if you leave it up to me, honestly, I would put everything out. Hey, that shit that you told me that shit you told me to edit out, that I'm about to go edit out, I would put that out.
You can't, Joe.
I know I'm taking it out. I'm taking it out. I ain't putting it out. I'm ending this space. I'm going to call Mel. I ain't playing with y'all. That fight me and you had, I'd have put it out. I'd have put everything out. But no, they ain't gonna get me looking away. Fuck y'all.
Yo, Joe,
But
don't stop.
But hold on, I'm almost done, y'all. The pre-production, what I'm talking about, I'm just talking about like when you come in and we're sitting around and you're telling us like, all right, what do we got going on?
I know, but then you show
that 10-minute block.
You gotta show the post-production to where now everybody's wilding. So niggas could be like, well, we just saw the pre-production. How in the fuck?
Shit.
What the fuck did they get?
Oh, you want to show that too? I was just thinking about the beginning. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
Yeah, no, they would fucking shit. They
I mean,
sick
but
and
Joe,
joke
but
was
Joe, that's a good tier though, Joe. We've been playing with the idea. You've been playing with the idea. Like we have a 10-minute to 15-minute block where we do pre-production, where you sit down, you walk around. You got something to say? This. What we got? Like that is fire. That is fire to me. The ending part, how we end it, is a little crazy because we get too hyped and we start yelling and shit. I don't think they should see that. No, that's crazy.
I'm going to edit that episode tomorrow. That's what y'all have done. Hey, I've read your community. I've read your community notes.
Yes.
I hear everything that was said. I'm open and accountable, and because of the care and concern, I'm gonna go make sure. Don't you worry. I'm gonna watch it 10 times.
The nigga hit me this morning out of all people. Yo,
yeah, that's when you know something. I got called flipping. 7:45.
Yeah. He hit me this morning. I said, yo, Joe, and we talked about it. He said, I'm gonna edit it out. Thank God.
Let me tell y'all something out there. The podcast boom is over. There was a millions and millions and a millions of podcasts and millions of companies pouring in millions. All of that shit is over. It is a wrap. Only the creme de la creme still remain. Fortunately for me, I'm included in that. So, however the fuck I see fit to pod, until proven wrong, is a great fucking way to pod. And that's it. Call it narcissism, call it whatever the fuck y'all want to call it. But it works. It's provocative. It's compelling. All of those pods that went to work and cut a mic on and was being like true to themselves and I would never do, I can't talk, I can't gossip, I can't say this, I gotta protect my image and my brand and my brand. They're all gone. It's just psychos like me left.
My brand was done.
That's what I'm telling y'all. So get used to some jokes that's not appropriate. Get used to fucking arguments that maybe shouldn't be published for the public consumption. Get used to some shit. That's it.
Entertainment. Y'all keep talking about chicken.
It's the end of my rant.
Look, when you said that
If
dude
I wasn't psycho in the head, my podcast would have been a normal podcast and we would be out the window like all of the rest of the normal podcasts. No, fuck that. Drawing a line in the psycho sand. The chicken joke has to be able to fly for this to be successful. I'm sorry. I do appreciate concerned fans and some of you being overprotective of me and the pod and the brand. I also acknowledge some of y'all having PTSD because of the journey that has been. But God damn it, if the chicken joke can't fly, then there's like mad other jokes that can't fly. And I just don't really want to. I'm not going to work doing all of this bleeping. I'm not. Toughen up, or turn it off.
Beating up
What'd
the
you say?
paralyzed guy, legs that he wouldn't feel the legs.
Yo, dog, y'all was talking about the chicken joke. I think in that same episode, I talked about the lady drowning her mom and her mom underwater saying,
And they ain't say shit about that. They ain't say shit about that.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm
Damn
turning it up.
chicken joke.
I'm here to cook. I'm here to be the best potter I can possibly be. Toughen up or turn it off.
Or just get the $5 tip. Fuck it.
That was wait. And then I told Ish what I would be saying underwater if he tried to drown me, but nobody would hear me. I knew it was gonna be you motherfucker. No, dog. We was bug. I was bugging in that episode.
Hey, yeah,
If you
kept
didn't like it,
that part in?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I kept it in. If you didn't like it, sorry, buddy.
No, that's how we like our Joe
Sorry.
Budden.
Nigga, and then at the end of that shit, he said, Mel, you're not gonna say nothing? That's what made the shit mad funny. I don't understand this shit right now.
Most
No,
of
that
us
shit
like
was
it.
funny.
Don't
That
don't
shit was
let the people
hilarious.
that don't speak loud. Most of us like it. It's crazy.
This nigga Joe is talking exactly how you talk at home, but he's doing it on a podcast, and niggas is upset.
Bruh.
Niggas is upset.
Bruh. Mel told that man he had a knuckle. I don't want to hear nothing.
Joe is not up there letting people
This nigga
do
cooked me with
weird
that. That one
things.
she
He's
cooked
not
me
making
with.
gossip up. Joe is up there telling jokes. We have a great pod. We get some commentary. Like, y'all gotta relax, bro.
Asking for too much. We're entertained.
Can we
That's
let
all we
Mushy
can
go, then Chris, and then Martin?
As a nigga that had his last two therapists, I feel like that's not your bed shit was funny as fuck. Cause I'm gonna go to somebody who think the same way as me. Like y'all motherfuckers, every time we come up here and we be like, we enjoy this pod, y'all call us Joe Vengers. Y'all need to shut the fuck up. Like Flip said, go outside and enjoy some shit, bro. Like, cause y'all just don't enjoy this shit. And we tired, like, and real motherfuckers is here for the jokes that came for jokes and shit, and like seeing what Joe is. Like, we know Joe gonna goddamn have the inappropriate shit. That's what we here for. And in the pod, he said, oh, so y'all ain't gonna come up with nothing? So he gonna have to turn it up. Like, y'all just don't be listening for the shit. Y'all just want to listen for the, what he said, and then call him a master manipulator. Like, shut the fuck up and take the jokes. Like, it's tiresome at this point. Like, half of y'all in the community just complain about this shit, and the people that goddamn enjoy it, y'all be like, oh, y'all on this dick. No, nigga, we enjoy the fucking show. Like we said all the time, just enjoy the shit, shut the fuck up. If you don't like it, turn the shit off and don't pay for it, my nigga. God damn.
Hey, Mushy, and we have friends that we joke with like that. So maybe y'all need to go get some friends that you can joke with like that.
Yeah,
Go
you need some
find some
friends. And like Jonay said, like, do y'all have like homegirls or homeboys that y'all ain't trying to fuck or be around y'all like childhood friends that you can joke like that with? Like, do y'all be on the block? Like, god damn, like y'all niggas are just like internet motherfuckers or some shit. Like, it's terrible right now, bro. Like, just goddamn enjoy the shit or stop fucking paying, bro. That's it. It's either it's those two. Stop paying, stop listening, or just come on this bitch and enjoy the shit, my nigga. Like, the chicken line was funny as a bitch. You seen Mel face. She was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And she tried to say something, but it was just a stinking ass, it stung. It's a good stinking ass joke. So you can't, if you ain't got no get comeback for a sting, like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna look like with your mouth wide open. So y'all niggas just shut the fuck up or go beat off or some shit. God damn.
Go ahead, Chris.
I just want to say that was a sexist comment because you're assuming that all of us here are male and we can't all beat off. We do other things. But anyways, go ahead.
Here go Micah.
For me, I don't want the podcast to ever lose the comedy. Every iteration and version of the podcast, from the original host to the host we have now to when it was, when we didn't have Melyssa Flip to when we did get Melyssa Flip, I want it to continue to be where we can have jokes, we can have fun, and everything doesn't turn into sexism or victimhood or did they dogpile on one person or the other. This is a function essential of the Joe Budden podcast, the comedy, the jokes, the going there. And that's the whole point of having a podcast too, where people actually have real life relationships, that this is not just a business type of podcast where we can't even dig into each other because we don't know each other like that. These people actually know each other like that. So we're going to assume, just like how we do in regular life, that you can take different jokes. In regards to Mel, I don't look at, me personally, I don't look at the episodes like each person needs to speak a specific amount of time. I think for me, it's the collective that, yeah, there might have been during that Drake and Kendrick run, Ish didn't want to talk because he wanted to put on a cape for Drake. Sure, we get that. We understand that. We understand that there's moments of time, some of them don't come through for a specific topic or whatever. But collectively, we know that all the men on the pod have done both saluting people that they have takes on and they've kicked people's backs in. It feels like collectively, a lot of times, Melyssa doesn't have a point of view, especially when it comes to celebrity takes, unless it's allegations on a man or it's an award show take. And that's what gets frustrating, like the Drea take, the Vivica Fox situation. The JBP has been slammed for a long time for when it's time to critique women and give takes and they get clipped up online. Oh, these are men kicking these women's back in, or who are you to speak on a woman in this situation? And that is exactly where having a female mic would come into play. If sometimes you have to look at these situations and say, this is not a situation for a woman to get saluted. She's absolutely trash for this, or this is not, how people should be getting represented with these platforms. That's what's missing from Melyssa Ford's voice. And that's what gets annoying when it's collectively take after take after take that she either has to be asked to say something about a female in the news, or she has to just be asked, hey, do you have anything to say about this? Versus the guys, they're always willing to give strong opinions about something, even if it's not favorable to the public. And that's where a lot of frustration for me personally comes with her, her voice. It would be great maybe if there was a part-time female voice sometime, maybe to balance it off, because I think where we're all saying like there's 5 and 6 mics. Yes, Ish and Ice and Imani, everybody is different, but there's no other female to compare on the platform. So that's where it's naturally also going to be a lot of pushback sometimes.
But hold on, but it's like in a regular conversation, like if 3 people having a conversation and you don't have that much input, do you feel like you gotta say something? Do you gotta feel like you gotta say something all the time? Like that's what I'm saying. Like if I ain't that educated in some subject, I ain't gonna say something and look stupid. Like allowing to have grace, you know what I'm saying? Like not to say nothing. If she ain't want to say nothing, she ain't gotta say nothing. It's 6 people on the pod. Like that whole 52 minutes was mainly Ish, goddamn his story, and then they joking around. Then Joe was like, "Oh damn, we ain't even introduced the pod." So y'all
And
just
the intro. Yeah.
y'all just nitpicking that shit.
A lot of the stories that they end up covering are celebrity or media, like entertainment related. Joe and Melyssa are the 2 closest to entertainment people that are on the pod. So for me, when we're talking about, she was a video vixen, this is what her background is. You never really hear her bringing that into what her takes are, where when I was on a set or back when I was doing this, XYZ was happening. But you hear Ish, you hear Flip, you hear Ice talk about certain, like they'll take whatever their life experience or professional experience has been and they'll put it in takes. So when you kind of don't get those relations to what she's done in her career as far as hip hop and being a video vixen, when she doesn't put that into it and then she doesn't put her personal life into it, it's like that's what the meat and potatoes of Melyssa's voice is missing from the platform to me.
Could I just add something to that point? Because I want to add specifically to what Chris said. I think that's a good perspective, but I think that perspective is one not towards you specifically, Chris, but that this is where we haven't done our research and our homework on the people we talking about. Because if you've ever heard Melyssa on the Hollywood Unlocked podcast, if you've ever heard Melyssa on her podcast when she had it, Mel, even when she was with Jason Lee, she wasn't the one talking about the Hollywood gossip. It was him. She was the more journalistic, intelligent take. Like, she's the one that kind of knew like these fun facts and these random things about random people. She did have industry relationships, but even when they would interview people on Hollywood Unlocked, she wasn't the one that would push like a whole bunch of these controversial opinions. She wasn't. She would have her opinions on certain situations, but the messy side or like the industry insider side, that was never her. So what I'm thinking is right now there's a lot of people being introduced to Melyssa Ford, and they're thinking they know who Melyssa Ford is, and they've never taken the time to listen to her outside of the pod. Mel was never like that. She's never been like that. Mel has said several times, and we have to start piecing together what this woman is telling us versus adding what we want her to be. She has said several times, I barely knew who Jay-Z was when I did Big Pimpin'. I barely knew who this person was when I did this video. I knew of Jadakiss. I knew of these people. So she might not have been as tapped into the industry as we want. So what we really want is we want Mel's whole stories, or we want Mel's dating
They
stories.
want the
And Mel
tea.
has already said, y'all want the tea of what Mel, not you specifically, Chris, but some people take what you're saying, which is a good point, but they take it and run with it. And now they want the messiness of what she's experienced as a video vixen. And Mel keeps saying, I was a nerd. I didn't know these people. I was Canadian. I came into the country and I did this, and I was not in the mix. Now I do have some relationships, but I also don't want to cross those relationships. Those are people that I might still know. I don't want to expose all these things and expose these people. I've been to parties. I've seen things. She might have experienced certain stuff. But if you've ever heard Mel anywhere outside of the JBP, Mel was never that girl. So what we're expecting is what we've created and not who she is. What I want Mel to do, and it has nothing to do with the tea in her experience, is learn how to volley back. But that's the only thing I think she could do better, is when they start throwing digs, find a way to dig back in their ass.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
Mel
what
never
I'm saying.
sat at an American lunch table, and that's the
She's
problem.
not
Yeah, she's not good
confrontational.
at that.
And that's fine,
That's
and it's totally
yeah.
fine. I get it, but it's like all Mel needs to do is just ask somebody on her team that can just have joke practice with her. Just joke with me all day. Let's just laugh about stuff all day and learn how to joke with Joe and learn how to joke with the rest of the guys. Because all them niggas do is tell jokes all day long. Now I will say, as a side note, I cannot believe y'all let Ice get away with that Tropic Thunder bullshit ass outfit. That should have came with a lot more jokes, especially because of the way that y'all been going in on Imani, because he don't got his little bib, and y'all let Ice show with that outfit, and I think that was the same day. But Mel just needs to learn how to sit at a lunch table and tell some jokes and just start screaming back at Joe, because sometimes that's his superpower. And just scream back at that nigga and we can all laugh, because like everybody's been saying, this is fully entertainment. We don't know these niggas. And yeah, sometimes it can't come off a way because it's all perception based. We watching them through a screen, but we don't know them. And if Mel just learns how to joke back, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
No, that's real.
That's
You know how
peace.
All right,
many times I
let
was
me
looking
let
at the screen like, Mel, just fucking say something. Just say something back. Sometimes I feel like she chooses not to just because she doesn't feel like it. And then other times I feel like she's literally at a loss of
Yeah,
loss of
like it's
words.
kind of like when they said God is good, and then her and Flip start prank. It's like, bruh, come on, dog. You gotta know
look
just
at
how
this
to say
beautiful
something
stage. Of
back
course,
quick.
God is good.
Got all the time, and
Um,
all the time.
Bo,
Micah.
Bo Keith Woodbine, go ahead, go, and then Rui.
Yeah, so just a couple of things. I think the issue is that people don't I think it's magnified when it's Mel because she's the only woman, but in reality, if you've been around this podcast, like everybody gets a turn. Like I don't know who was around for the Malls Too Cool era, but we've all had a complaint about somebody on the pod, or we've all had a critique about, Ice used to be the most hated podcaster, and Ish had his turn, and Flip has his turn. The only one bulletproof is Parks. Like you try to throw a joke at Parks, he's gonna like bounce that shit off like Captain America. I don't know how he manages to remain unscathed in this, but Parks is that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like other than that, everybody has a turn. Like in reality, Melyssa, she's gotten better with throwing her digs at Ish. She don't take Ish shit like that no more. She, you know what I'm saying? She joke around, she laughs, she joke. It's like I think everyone's assigning like this damsel in distress title to her, when in reality she's just kind of finding her footing in the mix of the six, being the only woman, not necessarily trying to be the she said it multiple times, she doesn't want to be the flag bearer for all women and the opinions of all women. So at the end of the day, the shit really not that deep. She's gonna get critiqued. Everyone's gonna get critiqued. The shit is like your favorite TV show. We'll all complain about the characters, but we don't assign that to them in real life. If we meet them, we all dislike Tariq from Power and little stupid nigga. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. But you see him in real life, bro. You gonna salute, man. Do your thing. X, Y, and Z. You're not gonna say, little stupid little nigga, why you sold the coke to X, Y, and Z. This is not. This is not that. So just treat it like your favorite TV show. Observe your favorite characters. We all have opinions and critiques. Like when we speak in this space, we're speaking about our favorite show. So everyone is not gonna have the same difference of the same opinion. And it's not always misogyny, though. Some of you motherfuckers need to calm down. It ain't like some of y'all are on that line, or that red pill line. Y'all need to relax. But for the general purposes of everything, man, it's just a show. We all love it. For those of us who pay for it, we love it. So let's just enjoy this shit, man.
Yo, when the fucking pod started, Park said, yo, rest in peace to my man. I've been keeping my mind off things because it's beautiful outside. And then I said, yo, when I die, leave some space in between when you
Oh
say
yeah, that
rest
was
in peace
wild.
to Joe and between a beautiful day. And then he went in his dark humor thing. See, that is dark humor. That's not something I would ever say to Parks off of a microphone or off of a podcast. That would not be my normal reaction. However, that could be viewed as over the line. Like, why? The chicken is nowhere near the line, is all I'm saying.
But Joe, that's what I
Like,
was gonna say. I was gonna say, you know how to steer the ship very well. You know how to pivot into something else when you notice someone is uncomfortable or something. Like I can tell that you know what you're doing. I feel like the rest of us need to just trust that Joe understands how to operate this podcast. There's a reason why we're all still watching right now.
I'm gonna piggyback off of you real quick and just real quick chime in and say that as a fan that came in later to the pod, my perspective on it is that it's what you said. The ship is steered and is being steered very well. These people that were chosen to be a part of this podcast were very well selected. And I give everyone their flowers because at the end of the day, let's say just example as a Melyssa Ford that might not be as good to make jokes about something is going to give me so much more on a specific topic and give me certain things that I might have not known, that all these people just have to be accepted and respected for who and how they are and understand that we are all watching our favorite show.
Yo, what floor you on? 6 or 7?
23.
oh shit, big up. 23rd floor.
Nigga in space.
Oh, Joe, did you help your girl
He need
find
Park.
that hairdresser? Well, did you have a hand in that? I only asked because you had such
Yo, excuse me?
Well, no, I only asked
Yo.
because you had such a hand in helping Melyssa. I didn't, and she tweeted
Oh
something,
my
so I
God,
just wanted to. Did you have a hand in it?
Wait, I didn't have a hand in helping with what Melyssa do what?
She needed that wig.
Yeah, you mentioned that you were helping her find somebody with the wigs and stuff, but
Nigga, that was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
That
so
was
you out of
forever
that
ago,
business
yeah.
now. You out of
That
that
was
business.
mad long ago.
Joe, I want to ask you a question, please. And that's all I do. I come around.
This nigga asked him about, yo, you found somebody for her
And
hair?
Give it to me, T
No,
Rankin.
No,
you
I'm
didn't
not
see what your
asking.
girl tweeted?
I'm not
What, can y'all
asking.
hear T Rankin?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Can you
Oh,
hear
y'all
me,
just
Joe?
talking over. All right. I hear you.
Okay, excellent. Now, do you think, because we heard Flip talking about go outside, blah, blah, blah. Firstly, I'm inside because I work fully remote and it is almost 10 to 4 here, right? So I'm working and I'm listening to this and I'm living a normal life. And also the fact that you've got over 1,000 people on the space at very early times in the morning for some of us shows the love and the passion that the show engenders, right? So I don't think it's a diss that people are this passionate about your work. It's been like that since you started rapping, I believe. So it's how many podcasts will kill to have this? people debating all night and writing theses and what about the content of the show. So I think it's a positive for you. And even if we say things you don't agree with, trust me, this is love. People can't engender this kind of passion for money, not to speak of even those who watch it for free in the community debating at odd hours, you know? So I think it speaks to the kind of quality and the kind of products you've been putting out over the years. However, I'm not here to join the circle jerk. I'm so sorry. They've been circle jerking a bit on stage, and I've been listening, patiently just listening like, yeah, whatever. This shit goes how you go, Joe Budden. You are the leader. Attitude reflects leadership. Now, I heard, all the people coming on stage talking about Mel doesn't talk, because when you want Melyssa to give an opinion, you often preface it with, this is what I brought you here for. This is the shit you're getting paid for. So like a lot of your male fans in particular, I'm not trying to gender war us out, but I've noticed they tend to ape the shit you say. When you say it, they start saying it. Oh, no one holds Mel accountable, as if they're paying her bills and she has to explain herself to them. So they start saying, they start using accountability, start reminding her that she gets paid, like that furious guy that was on stage speaking on Mel as if he's part of the Joe Budden production Inc. Like, dude, who the fuck are you? But he's literally aping your words, Joe. He's aping your words. So
Whoa, T Rankin.
wait,
No,
let me tell you
he's
what I
not
mean.
aping
Let me
mine.
tell you what I mean. Let me tell you what I mean. Often I have heard you, because I've listened to every single episode of the pod, I've heard you say, this is what I brought you here for. This is what you're getting paid for. To me, these are like pre-pro talk. We should not be exposed to that kind of talk, really, to be quite frank. Because these people, men in particular, will now be repeating it as if they're part of Joe Budden Inc. And that's not right. Right. Okay, that's one. Two, I don't think that you have a camaraderie problem, because I think Melyssa's actually a gift to you, right? She's pre-cancel culture. She's a bit older. She's quite level-headed. So she can take a joke. She can take a joke that is very close to the line. And people talk about all these other women that are fantastic. They spend 2 weeks on the JBP, they're filing a lawsuit. Okay? Because the jokes are so risque. But Melyssa can chest the shit because she is such a team player. So for me, this vex is not about Melyssa's performance. It's really essentially about Joe steering the ship in a more stable manner. You don't sort of need to give people like a script to read. But as you do, they do, as you go, they go. So sometimes from the last episode, because everybody's in a circle jerk and sort of acting as if people who notice some things being all right are doing too much. Last episode, Joe, we noticed some things were off. Now, we as your fans, paying and non-paying, are telling you this to you directly, instead of going all over the internet to bitch about it. We're telling you directly. So because we love you and we love your work, please don't receive this as if we're too serious or we're too sensitive. Just take it in your stride. That's all. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Can I just say to that? I think this is the thing. It can't be a gender thing all the time. Like I just sat here yesterday and watched a 2-part compilation entitled Jokes About Joe Budden's Career on the podcast. So if the boss is allowing there to be that much content about his own back being kicked in, about his relationships, about his failures, his careers, and even in the clip he says, yo, it's only my friends that kick my back in about shit that I'm proud about. And niggas just laughed. Like, it's one of those things of like, yeah, he dictates the direction
And
of the
Parks
ship and
lost the
all of these
hardest.
things, but he's generally the example of what he allows done to him that is kind of like, all right, well, everybody else kind of just falls in line with that. Not to say, like, again, I think the critiques should stay within being a fan of the content. All this contract talk, all this you paid to be here talk, that should be reserved for the person who's writing the checks. If you're not paying these people, don't talk about what they get paid for. Speak from a listener's perspective. From my perspective, it's, hey, I'm listening to this podcast. I would like to hear what Melyssa says. I would like to hear what Melyssa thinks. I don't want, I'm not here for journalism, or should it, like, I think Melyssa needs to find the balance between needing to be fact based and just needing to just say what she thinks. it's not always about the facts. Like Joe says that all the time. So sometimes I just want to hear Mel cut up, like say what you think, and it don't have to be a serious gender war, or just say like when she said when they asked her about the hypocrisy of, well, does she feel like is she cool with a man paying all her bills but a woman shouldn't pay a man's bills, and she was like, yeah, like you cool with that double standard? Yeah. And I laughed. It's okay. Like it doesn't have to be this whole thing of, well, we're criticizing her because, or well, she's a woman, so we expect this from her, or she's getting paid. So we shouldn't be expecting anything from anybody. We don't pay them. Like, if anything, like we be paying Joe with the Patreon stuff. So all right, cool. Joe let us come up here. We say what we think, X, Y, Z, we go along. But other than that, we don't pay them. So let's just speak on them from our listeners' experience, and maybe our opinions are even received differently. Just from my own experience, this is what I would like to hear, not this is what you get paid for, because we don't pay them.
Baby Shay, you go first, and then CP, and then Con.
Oh no, I'm good. If anybody else would like to speak, I just want to just say that I think that Mel could even take some pointers from Parks. Like the speaker before me was just saying, it's like Parks is always quick witted. It doesn't matter who it's coming from, if it's joking or not. It's just quick witted with the response. I think a lot of times it's when Mel just kind of sits there and just looks, where people just starts to like form an opinion. If she would just say something, anything, then it would be cool. But I think everybody is doing a great job. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Michael, for hosting the spaces, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Oh, same to you. Thank you.
All right, Joe, don't be too nice. You hear it in your voice.
She's definitely the
That
most
was my
diplomatic.
nice voice.
She's the most diplomatic. I think that's what it is.
Joe's good for someone like me who actually, Mel is good for someone like me who actually likes women that like think about things and want to approach it from an intellectual perspective. I enjoy that kind of shit. So every time Joe says don't serious us out, I'm vexed. Like, I want it to be serious. I like that, because I'd be arguing with you guys in my
Yeah,
office.
that's part of the problem, right? Like, the audience is large, and some of y'all are maturing faster than me. I'm cool with us separating here, but T Rankin, I'm with serious and some shit out sometimes. Sometimes it deserved to be serious, and shit, I could use the break. I'ma shut up when it gets serious. But Game having fucked Black China and the mom trying to hit on him, I don't think that that's serious time. One.
It's disgusting. That's what it is.
Two, I think that this is me personally speaking. I think that as a podcaster, it's my job to come in here and give a thought that's unique to me. I could look at the same story that everybody else looked at and walk away with the same redundant, hey, I wouldn't talk to somebody's mom like that. But it's part of my job to fucking watch the game tape and figure out how I'm going to attack this. Part of what separates me from the field is I'm going to say something about this that nobody's going to say.
But Joe,
Part of that is I'm not finished. Part of that is not processing in real time. Part of that is figuring out your angle before the game starts. Because once the game starts, it's game speed. The ball is going to come your way at some point. We can't predict when it's coming your way. I'm not even mad at the silence. So T Rankin, I don't like you putting Furious's takes on me, because I don't agree with that. I'm not mad at the silence. What I'll say is, when the ball comes your way, like when Ice threw it to you, thank you, Ice, for recognizing that, we got a member of the pod that we got to throw the ball to. It's not for Mel to say, hey, are you being sexist right now? That's my only beef. Whatever you have to say after that and whatever your take is, please give it. But don't, when the ball comes your way, question why the ball is coming your way. Because, then I'm going to say, well, that's what we're here for.
Joe,
if I notice that she is observed on a topic, I may remind her, and she's not the only person. I tell Ish all the time too. That is what we are here for. Nobody loses on this really but y'all, because I know that Mel is really, really funny. Like, y'all think she's not funny. She maybe can't clap back, but Mel is hilarious. She just won't let herself be hilarious. Y'all ain't even catch her when she was like, when Ish was talking about going to the white party. She could have really went crazy talking about, oh, look at him, he hype. He never knew in the face ass nigga, never been here before ass nigga. She could have went crazy, but because Mel loves people and cares about how she's gonna come off, she just don't go crazy. So yeah, I'll give a little nudge sometimes. Sometimes I'll be wrong. Hopefully more times than not, I'll be right. That's what I got.
Yeah, she was fantastic with that repartee with Ish. I really enjoyed that, especially as she was spot on, so he didn't have a comeback. Oh, it warmed my heart. But so here's the thing. Do you think some topics are like really like ratchetry and maybe perhaps it's hard? I'm just saying, because this whole game and Tokyo Tony and Auntie stuff was really disgusting. Like, I know maybe some people enjoyed it, but I found it so mundane, so pedestrian. And I mean,
All
I
right.
suppose sorry, let me just let
Can
me
I?
just finish, please. I
Can I just
suppose
say
I
something?
suppose wait, I suppose
Let her land her adult take.
thank you.
Yeah, let her land.
Thank you. I suppose for me as a listener, like, it was not edifying at all. But I do take your point that once the ball comes to you, whether you agree, whether you disagree, whether you think it's mature, immature, you have to be prepared. And I think these are, I don't know, I'm not going to say you haven't told her. Perhaps these are some of the conversations that you need to be having, where, she's done, where your team's doing really well and where your team could improve on, those kinds of things. But I definitely enjoyed her repartee with Ish. And I told her as well on Twitter, like, yo, this is really dope, as a way to encourage her to do more of it. But ultimately, the show's great. It's just you will have episodes like this where we'll have a lot to say about little things, and you just have to test it, I suppose.
Can I jump in real quick, because I want to address T-Rank and you directly. So that circle jerk comment, I think you need to kind of tighten up with the disrespect, because number one, just because we don't all agree, let's be mindful of the words we're using when someone just doesn't agree with your opinion. Number two, it seems as if you're listening to the wrong podcast, because if you are as much of a fan as Joe Budden, where were you during the Me Undies, Me Monies? Like, are you serious? We're talking about the Aunties podcast and all the other things. This is the type of stuff that Joe and them have talked about since the inception when they were on SoundCloud. They have literally talked about all these random ass topics, these random ass things, and they had even worse takes than they do now. So if we're up here literally trying to double down on the Joe that we signed up for, and maybe you or those that are like you are trying to create a Joe that doesn't exist, I think you might be watching or contributing to the wrong pod. And maybe you should find a way to find another space for you to get your more mature takes out, or more mature dialogue out, because that's not what it is. Mel knew what it was when she signed up. The reality is if we want to have those opportunities, we can do that at another place and another time, but this ain't it. So the reality
I agree, but I've changed.
That's good for you. No, that's good for you. No, that's good for you.
That's what I
That's good for you.
Nah, he's
That's
trying to
good for
grow.
you. No, that's good for you. And I'm glad. No, but I'm glad
He's
that
trying to grow.
He's
Hold
matured.
on, but I'm glad you changed. But what I'm saying is I think there is one thing for us to say, okay, we're coming at this scenario, the dog piling. I think those are all fair. But for anybody, and especially you, Team Rankin, to get up here and say that we all were doing some circle jerk, number one, keep it cute. That's number one.
That was mean.
No, it ain't
was.
mean, but I'm checking it. So let's be very clear. There's no circle jerking. If I don't agree with you trying to serious out a chicken joke, I'm not circle jerking Joe. And that goes for anyone that thinks that you can say anything quite like that. You may want to serious it out. So you might need to be going watching The View and not this pod. Because I don't know what type of topics you think are happening over here. I don't know who you think Melyssa Ford is, but I think maybe you could have potentially supported I'm here for the food, and maybe that would still be going on. So if that's the case, maybe we're just in the wrong space, because when we start having these conversations, it's one thing to talk about Joe and getting him when he's in his weird bag, but now we're getting into, oh, this is a disgusting, like, this is what they do. What are we talking about? Like, we got to start learning where we are. So if you want to intellectualize us every time, I love it. First off, I support your voice because you are A1 when you get into your bag. I love it. But let's not get out the bag and think that this is something that it's not.
Okay, thank you.
Are we?
Thank you.
Are we?
Can you?
Before, wait, everybody, mute it up. Mute it up. Mute it up. I just want to know if we are at the shoot at each other portion of the show, because I have shots too that I want to send to some
Oh, go
people.
ahead. Go ahead. Do
But
your thing, man.
Ain't nobody
no,
shooting
no,
like
Can
no,
I
you
no, no.
today.
respond? Can I
Oh,
respond,
about to
Joe? Can I
load up the
respond,
bullets
please?
now.
Can I
Joe, can I
speak?
respond?
Oh, I'm loading up the 30.
You got to ask Micah.
Can I respond? Oh, Micah, can I respond to that?
Yeah,
Because
have one
I've
rebuttal.
been
Hold
waiting
on.
for a
Have
while.
one
If I can
rebuttal. Then let me
just
get
have a quick off.
Khan and then Peaks right after you respond.
Oh, okay, cool. Firstly, I didn't mention anybody. Circle jerk was a figure of speech. So if the shoe fits and it's a little tight on you, that's on
No,
you.
the shoe don't fit, and it's not a shoe that's up
I
here. So
wasn't
keep it
speaking.
cute.
I
I just
wasn't
said
speaking
keep
to
it
you
cute.
directly. I
I
wasn't
just
speaking
said
to you
keep it
directly,
cute.
and
Don't
I
You're
didn't
they let her
repeating.
interrupt
finish?
you. Can I
No,
finish?
no, no,
I didn't
no.
interrupt you.
It's
Can I
keeping
finish?
it cute. No,
Secondly,
there's no
Come on
repeat.
now.
There's
All
no
right.
repeat, babe.
I'm going to mute the stage. Micah, you're doing a great job of
Letting it go.
you're really killing the mediation. Man, you're doing phenomenal. Phenomenal. I don't want to mediate. Let me take
No,
this
the
off
reason. No,
mute.
let me just say
can
this.
I
This is the
just
reason.
finish
Hold
my
on.
No, wait.
Janae, you gotta let her finish.
Jonay, you can't do that because she did let you get your shit off. So let her get her shit off.
without interrupting a single time? She was able to speak at length. When I'm addressing Joe and I'm speaking to Joe as a fan of his show and just postulating, I don't think it's your place to tell me what I can speak to him about if he does not object. I've also been listening to the show since SoundCloud days, every single episode of the show, as a matter of fact. You have your view, I have mine. It is not your place to tell me maybe this isn't the show for you. I pay for my subscription, thank you. So clearly I do think it's the show for me. And if I have an opinion, I will state it. I didn't address you directly. So please, there's no points. You're not my mother. You don't get to tell me to keep it cute and what. I was speaking to Joe. If he didn't appreciate it, he could have told me so himself. And then I would have known. But it's not your place to speak for Joe Budden and what the show is and what the show isn't. I was giving my opinion on the segment, and I expanded that opinion. I didn't stop in saying it was disgusting. I was trying to understand why she was so reluctant. Maybe she felt like it was beneath her, etc., etc. I expanded it. So please, yes, I'm aware of the Me Undies and Where's My Me Money's episode. I listened to it too. But please, let's just keep it on the matter at hand. I didn't come at you. Please don't come at me. That's it.
Well, again, I'm glad you said that. I didn't mean to cut you off, but what I'm saying is that if a man were to get up here and say that we were circle jerking anybody, we would have the same energy, and so you get the energy as well. So I'm just making sure that the playing field stays level. That if we're going to be up here talking about anyone's perspective, that you don't get up here and try to have a one-off moment and say that you were coming up here to interrupt the circle jerk, is what you said. So number two, the reality of what I'm saying to you, T. Rankin, I'm not telling you what you can and cannot listen to, but you also could potentially be coming from a condescending perspective as if you're from this intellectual view of a podcast that's meant to be entertainment. So yes, if I have an opinion on your view, it is because of how you interpret what's going on and how you articulate your points. And if they come across as condescending and overly intellectual for a pod that's meant to be entertainment, and then you also assign narratives that are untrue, that is also my point and my place. And I can do so because I do exactly what you do. I come and listen to the pod. We can have differences of opinions. I never argue your opinions ever. This is the first time I've had this type of dialogue with you. But that comment is a little bit too much, because if it was a man that were to come up here and say that, we would be going at him. And so you are not exempt.
All right, let's move forward. Let's let Peaks and then Khan and then Peaks.
Great job,
Thanks,
Micah.
Micah.
You're doing.
Real quick, Joe. The review that you did of Drake's album Views, what year was that? Was
No,
that
no, not
2016 or
today, buddy.
2017?
You're not.
No, I'm just asking. Was that, how many years ago was that? 7 years?
Many years ago. Many years ago.
Many years ago. And that was the first episode that brought me to the pod. And since then, you've said a million jokes about a million topics. And 99 jokes I laugh at, and one joke I don't. And that's just how things are. You can't cherry pick what you do laugh at, what you don't laugh at. And what you don't laugh at, You just have to take it on the chin and just move on because 1,000 other people laughed at it. 2,000 people laughed at it. It may offend you, and that's understandable, T. Reagan, or you may feel a certain way about how Melyssa gets treated on the pod. But we can't kitty glove Melyssa, and then she can sit there and laugh at Ice, and laugh at Ish, and
Wake it
laugh
up.
at Parks, and laugh at Flip. And then as soon as it comes around to Melyssa, it's we're kitty gloving Melyssa again. Like it's just it seems to happen a lot. It seems to happen a lot in the comments. It seems to happen a lot on the pod. It just every time it comes back to Melyssa, it's we have to walk around eggshells again, and it's just become irritating. If Melyssa didn't want to be there, she wouldn't be there. If she didn't want to be treated like part of the group, she wouldn't be part of the group. She wants to be part of the group. She wants to be part of the jokes. And if you decide that you're just going to start cherry picking what you laugh at and what you don't laugh at, that means you either laugh at everything or you don't laugh at nothing. When you cherry pick, you exclude people. You can't say, "Oh yeah, that's okay to laugh at. That's okay to laugh at. That can't be laughed at." It's you may not like it. Someone else does. There's a lot that I don't like about the pod sometimes. It's called a skip button. Skip forward 5 minutes. Skip forward 10 minutes. Go to the timestamps and pick which subject you'd like to
Well,
listen
damn,
to.
y'all be going
You don't.
crazy on the skip button, ain't you? 10 minutes?
No, I do. No, not all the
Jesus.
time, but sometimes, yeah. It's like I don't want to hear Ish talking about Ice talking about sneakers, or I don't want to hear Flick just rambling on the pod, or Ish talking about buildings and housing. Like it happens. It's like, oh shit, they're in this bag. Skip. But I do listen to the pod. It's mad. It's just how it is. Sometimes Melyssa goes on about, I don't know, Canadian things or a movie that she watched, or it's okay, I don't like this part. Skip. And another thing, real quick, before I get off this topic, whatever we get given and able to watch and listen to, Joe has allowed it. It's not a live podcast. Whatever we get, it's been edited, it's been looked through, it's been probably combed through, and whatever Joe gives us, it's intentional.
I'm editing tomorrow's Patreon as
That's
we
what I.
speak. Goddamn.
That's what I mean. You even just said it with Flip just now. You said you're editing. You were sitting there and editing, and we're all talking as if it's a live podcast. If they don't like something, we're not getting it. If they don't approve of something, we're not getting it. If Melyssa doesn't approve of something, we're not getting it. If she gets joked about it, she goes, "You know what, Joe? I don't like that segment. Cut that out and let's start again." I'm sure Joe does it. I'm sure it's happened plenty of times. So what are we arguing in this space for? It's ridiculous. That's it. That's all I've got. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Can I say a special hello to Elena? Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful,
You
girl.
don't need to say a
Oh, sorry,
special
sorry.
hello to nobody.
Um,
Horny as hell.
Peaks. I mean, sincere. Then
Can I speak next?
yeah, go Peaks,
That's
then
funny.
sincere, and then BA after that.
Yeah. No, what's up, y'all? Good morning. I'm in Phoenix right now, so it's 8 a.m. for sure. But no, I want to basically just speak to. I think it's about growth when it comes to the people on the pod. Um, I noticed because I've been watching for a while, you know what I'm saying, and I think you got to be a patroni to kind of like get the full grasp on like everything in totality. But when it comes to growth in each character, like there was a time where it was like, all right, it shouldn't talk about music at all. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Because his takes was just so like, you know what I'm saying, too, you could tell that you don't listen to it and you don't come from a music head. Or like when Ice would talk
If she's
about,
stuck in the 70s.
huh?
If she's stuck in the 80s,
Yeah, yeah.
like we
So,
know
or
that.
like when
Yeah, we
same
know
thing with
that.
Ice though. Like with Ice, when Ice would talk about certain things, or when Flip get in there at first, and he was just too wild, bro. It's like, yo, chill out. You know what I mean? For the listener, I think the same thing with Melyssa. I want to say she does grow. She has grown a lot. Like I actually would give her most grown as far as like podcasters on the JBP, because she's, you know what I'm saying, you can tell that she wants to be one of the guys and she's doing what she does. She's starting to shoot back, you know what I'm saying? She's not scared. And I think with that it's pretty fire. But the thing is, whoever said that she ain't sat at enough lunch tables is perfectly right. Like, this is a team effort. You got to be able to take jokes and you got to know your role. You don't got to speak on everything. But this is a guy's podcast. This is a man's podcast. That don't mean that it ain't for women to come to, but I think women do come to this because it reminds them of their brothers, or they get a new insight on what men may be thinking. So it's a guy's podcast, and having Melyssa on there, respectfully, as a woman's voice, there are things that guys kind of would like Melyssa to talk about, you know what I mean? And not run away from, because, you know, you don't get to say, I'm not the voice of all women. But then when the guys get to talking about big bro shit, you want to be like, well, women, and you want to speak for all women to try to like disprove whatever point that you don't like that they saying. So I think it's kind of like the last pod, that wasn't right for her to, oh, this is sexist. It's like, nah, G, you supposed to be cis. You supposed to talk about stuff like this, and it's in your ball. The ball is in your court, whether you gonna make it funny or make it serious. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, and that's just growing. You know what I mean? We watching her grow in real time. And Joe, you doing a great ass job. You know what I'm saying? We even you a super captain, bro. Like, you putting everybody in their best positions, and you patient enough to allow them to grow. You don't mind the ugly phase of it. You feel me? But I just think it's just that you don't get to throw the stone and hide your hand. You don't get to be like, I want to be part of the guys, and then can't take a joke. Sometimes
that was my point.
Sometimes you're gonna be in the middle of the heat. Sometimes your chair gonna be hot as hell. And if you ever sat at that lunch table, you gonna know, look at somebody fast and say something to get that shit off you. It's just part of the game.
Well said.
Do you think?
Okay, it seems I've lost my co-host, Micah. He is gone. Go ahead. You were saying somebody?
Yeah, I was saying, do you think? I think sometimes I think to myself, like, maybe Melyssa's brand is kind of what people are under the surface frustrated about, because maybe she just speaks from a certain perspective that like people like Rankin would like to hear. But of course, like, this pod is just not the center for stuff like that, you know? So I kind of agree with what Jonae was saying about like just picking the pods that we listen to and shit, because I think the thing with Melyssa is I think she conflicts. She's in conflict with the brand of the pod and her own specific brand sometimes.
I could see that. I could definitely see
No,
that.
I don't agree. I mean, I think for me, I listen to the podcast because I actually want to hear men in their element. Do you get me? I want to hear men in the
Of
element.
course, of
I'm not
course.
exposed to like these I don't go to the barber shops, and the conversations that we have in the salons are completely different, at least where I'm from. So I enjoy even the toxicity. I enjoy it because it's like, I don't believe that men should be kept all the time. They should have some freedom to joke and to be free and to relax and to banter. But I think when you throw a woman into the space, the dynamic inevitably shifts. Everybody has to be a little bit more conscious because of the power dynamics. That's just the way it goes.
I think
But
it's different for each woman though, like certain types of women. Like, there's certain types of women that can go in there and be just like the boys, you know what I mean? But Melyssa, she has aspects of herself that is like that, but she also has aspects where it's like, I'm gonna sit back, be a lady, you know, she's more diplomatic. She's
She's
not going
very
to answer
self-aware.
questions. Yeah, she's not going to answer questions crazy. She's very kind and nice. Of course, she has other sides. I know she can kid and joke, and like, we don't know her to the 100th power, but I'm just saying that like the way she presents herself on and off the pod, I feel like is in conflict with what some people want to see from her on the pod. And I think Joe understands that, and I think he plays into that like in a good way. I think he knows the difference between like topics Melyssa's going to do well with and then topics she's probably not going to do well with.
But that last topic, low-key, was perfect for her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was low-key like, yo, this is something that you can make fun of. You know, like, what is the game doing? What's Shorty mom doing? Like, come on, yo. Like, and you been quiet. It's like, come on, sis.
Well, I think she found it detestable. I don't think she even found a joke in
Yes.
the minute, a joke in the minute. But BA and then Ice and then Elena.
Yeah, I just want to say.
I'm just going to say real quick. Forcing an opinion is the worst part too. If you don't really have anything to say about the topic, I'd rather you not say anything, because then you say something and it just sounds off. It sounds fake. It doesn't sound like it's genuine, or I don't know. It just if she genuinely didn't have anything to say, like Furious said that she was quiet for 55 minutes or whatever, he timestamped it. Let her just sit there until she's ready. I don't get it. I really don't understand why you want her to force an opinion or force something that she doesn't really feel or doesn't want to say. It's just ridiculous. I don't see it, and I'm not a white knight for Melyssa either. I really don't like some of her takes, but I'm on the fence about it too. I don't have to say that because I don't like some of her takes that because she sat there for 55 minutes it's an issue. It's not. I'd rather she just not say anything if she's got nothing to say. Serious, it's just simple.
And sometimes she says stuff just for people, like just for Joe to get off her neck or just for Ish to get off her neck. I feel like sometimes she does say stuff just to like, okay, I don't really feel like talking, but let me just say something so these niggas can hush. Like I get that energy from her every once in a while on the pod.
It's a podcast. It's a podcast. You kind of like you ain't got to force the take. But if we playing basketball and somebody passes the ball and you don't shoot it and you had a wide open shot, like it's like play your role.
Somebody gonna say
you
something
know what I
about
mean?
it. Somebody is gonna say something.
But there's a way to give a take without necessarily like giving. I don't know how to say it. Like, there's a way to give a take, but not give a take, but still be value. Still add some sort of value to the conversation without even really giving your true opinion. Because I feel like Flip does it all the time. No disrespect, but I feel like Flip does that all the time.
Hurry up, B. You better get in there.
Oh no, I just wanted to say, shout out to Joe, big fan. I've been listening since I was in high school. I'm about to graduate college in August, so I'm probably the youngest in here. And the wildest thing
You're
said,
not the youngest in here, buddy.
who the youngest?
Who the youngest?
Well, that's a better question to ask before you just assume that you're the youngest. You about to graduate college.
Yeah. But the wildest thing said on the last pod to me, some lighthearted stuff, was that it said he's bringing Steph, KD, and LeBron off the bench. Now that's for Joe to answer. And why didn't he refute that?
Well, I asked the question. I asked the question to hear the varying answers. It wasn't for me to refute. It was just for everyone to give who their starting five would be. I already know what I think about all his sports takes.
True. But you big up Steph Curry a lot. That's why I only said it.
Oh, you better say his fucking name, Steph Wardell. No, but oddly enough, I went home and saw some of the experts produce starting lineups that didn't have Steph, KD, and LeBron. They had them coming off the bench as well. I think they had Drew Holiday and Devin Booker starting in the backcourt, Anthony Edwards, Bam, and Embiid. I saw. Right, so I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not going to say somebody has a wrong answer.
My man MB let me down last night. Early.
He bugged out. He bugged out over there. If he gonna do that,
Yeah,
never
he
mind.
could be at home. He might as well just rest up
Yeah,
first.
he don't need to be there.
They said give his citizenship back.
Hey, relax on that. Ice and then Elena.
Man, boy, 2 weeks is a crazy turnaround. I mean, we just had this conversation on JBP Spaces, and they killed me, boy. Ooh, I can't wait to go back to that day, boy. I was on the boat by myself. You know the little boat when the Titanic go down. I was on that little boat, and they was sending them waves, boy. So I'm gonna just get to it, man. I specifically spoke on everything that people have been bringing up the past 2 days regarding Melyssa Ford. I explained why Joe keeps dunking on her fucking head. And it's like, bro, I'm gonna treat you like you one of the people. Like y'all treat Mel with kid gloves because she's pretty. It's the only reason why. Joe gets on Ice for not his real takes about getting sensitive. He got on Ish for having that fucking face. He got on Flip for being immature. But it's only a problem when Mel does it. And the problem is from what I've heard from Joe, it's a problem because I know you can really give it up. You're not on here to be pretty. You're on here to speak to the women's side of things. I'm not treating you like a dog and say, jump when I say how high. But the problem is, he says it all the time. You're coming up here to protect your brand. You're coming up here, say something that's not protective of the brand. Like you're not here to catapult yourself, and that's where I feel like the jokes and the dog piling on Mel are coming from. So, like I said, she's just not a good fit. Joe doesn't want to see her fail. I don't want to see her fail. I like Melyssa Ford, but the playing field is equal for everybody, and that's what y'all don't realize. It's funny when kick a black man's back in, she has everything to say. She has a word. She doesn't stutter. She doesn't stumble. But when it's time to be equal, then it's crickets. It's we have to treat you like a dog that don't want to go outside, and that's the problem. So, like, y'all really got to take a step back from getting way too invested. Like, bro, you can say that she's just not a good fit for it, and it's not dog piling. That's not shit on Mel. That's not women. Like, y'all said I was on her pussy because I said that we want to hear more from Mel, not about so much as just her story. We want to hear who Mel is. We tune in to hear who these people are, not to know about personal life. It's a podcast. We're listening as fans. So, she picks and chooses. She picks and chooses, and I mean, anytime what it is half-assing. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. She's half-assing, and somebody like Bridget don't do that. Like, it's not a woman thing; it's a personal thing. She doesn't. She's not a part of the JBP culture, from my opinion. I don't think she's really part of Black culture. I mean, we put it up there.
Oh
I put
Lord.
it up there in the jumbo. She
Oh
doesn't
no,
really
here we go.
value Black culture because outside of what she could gain from, she doesn't really know what we got going. Like, she don't really know how to joke and snap. She don't really know the nuances of our culture. So I'm gonna leave it right there. But it just go. I said all this. So I told you so, and she becomes what the JBP, everybody else has to become, and go to that same standard. The jokes are gonna keep flying. So she should go to the View. You know what I'm saying? If that's what Joe says is best, because that's what better suits her
Hold
than
on.
the pandering,
How
the
you feel about
diplomatic shit,
Bronny James?
and leave it there. What Bronny James got to do at a time like
I'm
that?
just
Wake it
asking.
up.
I'm just asking.
I don't really watch basketball. I watch
Okay,
football,
okay, okay.
so I don't really know
I'll
about
leave it
that.
alone.
Yeah. But I hope Mel does well in her other endeavors if she branches out. She's a pretty woman, but I don't give a fuck how fine you is. If you're wrong, you say some bullshit. Niggas like Joe and Ish, they gonna get on her head. Other niggas gonna pander, and it's gonna be like that. But y'all gotta stop that pandering shit, bro. Like, we hold everybody feet to the fire when they do some fuck up shit, but Mel don't. Hell no, fuck that shit.
Who
Micah,
said
can I
Mel
just
was
ask him a
I
leaving?
question?
also
I already knew it was gonna happen. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry because I know Elena needs to speak, but I just have a quick question. So if Mel is not a good fit, which we have brought this up time and time and time and time again, right? If she's not a good
Mhm.
fit as it pertains to the listeners, but Joe still has her on the podcast 2 years, right? Where do we go from
Mhm.
here?
Well, ultimately, Joe does. I don't know the contracts and the insides and outs. I'm just going off of it's constant jokes. Like, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Y'all hear it. I hear it. It's the reason why me and Jonah had the conversation. She was saying that, oh, that's the sister. That's the sister. I think this is just me. I think there's a clear difference between some sister shit and some shit like, okay, you're not participating in the way that is cohesive to this brand, to this, and I'm trying to acquiesce you, and you keep fighting me on it. So, nah, I don't.
But if Joe
I mean,
Budden
Joe,
doesn't have an
if
issue with it,
but
then
there's contract, but there's contract. I don't think he could just up and just say, okay, you fired. I mean, why would he even want to do that? Like, he wants her
he
on the
just
show. He's
said
just saying.
everything was fine.
Right. He just said
So
it.
that's why we're saying,
Okay, I
okay,
didn't hear that
so
part, but I'm saying, yeah.
are you
I
gonna
mean,
leave
I'm
watching the
telling you what.
pod now?
Hold on. Y'all are missing what I'm saying again. I'm telling you, the jokes are flying a certain. I just said he wants her on the pod. I know he likes her personally. I know he cares. They've known each other for a long time. He just wants her to amp it up. I think she's not a good fit. That's my opinion, because there's shows for the shit that she do with El Varner and them. She's good at that. She's more of a fit for that. That's my opinion. So don't take my opinion for a fact. But I'm just telling you why I think the jokes are flying. And I'm not the only one that thinks that way. The jokes are flying because she's not participating at a certain level. But do he not like? I think he loves the girl. I think he wants her on the show. So I mean, you're gonna have to pretty much ask Joe for that. If he spoke on it, then that is what it is. But yeah, when everybody else isn't participating, they get the same shit. So I don't. My question to y'all is, how do y'all differentiate when he says the exact same shit to Ish and Ice? He's literally got on everybody else for the same shit. Like, what's the difference between with Bill? I really don't understand.
Well, I
What
don't. I feel the same way when, when anybody comes up. If we're talking about Flip, if we're talking about Ish, if we're talking about Ice, like I already said an hour ago, it's just 5 other people that's on the podcast that can speak. So it's for me personally, it's just not a big deal when somebody is off or somebody is not fitting in that particular episode or in this particular topic or segment. It just doesn't come across to me personally as like, oh, Joe needs to get rid of Ish, or what the fuck, or Mel needs to go, or blah 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 blah. Like, it's at this point, it's been 2 years. It's just kind of like, okay, obviously somebody is having a bad day, or like you said, they just don't want to comment or whatever, then we're gonna move past that. And I just feel like it's Joe's responsibility, or whoever is next in line. It could be Flip, it could be Parks, it could be anybody. It's their responsibility to acknowledge that and then go ahead and carry the ship. And the
Yes.
way
You
that it
know what? I
flows,
want to hold up, hold up. I just want to jump in.
yeah,
I do want to remind everybody here too, right? Like, I think each member of the podcast, maybe with the exception of Parks, does have a hate hive.
yes,
Like, I think I'm hearing undertones of some of that here as well. I think that Mel maybe has 20% of people that hate her being there, Flip the same, Ish the same, Ice the same, and me the same. Maybe it's 15% of y'all that want me off my podcast. Parks is safe from this. But yeah, no, I know. I'm gonna hit to some of y'all. I see them. I see them little comments too.
Yo,
Oh,
Joe.
Joe should go. Joe should
15%
take
want him on
My,
himself
my,
off
my
for 6
podcast.
months.
Yo,
hey,
Joe. Can
I
you hear
got a
me?
question to Big
Oh,
Me
they're
though.
in
Like,
such a
why
great
do you think?
mood without Joe. Oh,
But I
shoot,
got a
everything's
question.
Wait,
But I got a
brighter
question.
without
I have
Joe.
something I want to say too, real
I
quick.
see y'all bitch ass niggas
Let me
too.
reply to Big Me
There's
though.
truth to it,
I
nigga.
noticed the episodes when Joe's not there, they're
They
all
wake
saying
it
how
up
great
then.
it is.
Yo, Joe.
Wake it
I'm trying.
up.
Yo, Joe.
Big Me, why do you feel like Joe says that? So like, if you ask me a question, should she be off? My question is, why do we keep hearing Joe say, "Are you going to say anything? Are you
Because
gonna,
it's
like, we
Yeah.
can't
funny.
skip over
It's
that
because
part?"
funny
it's
when he says
funny.
that.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
It's
like,
It's
hilarious.
hilarious when he says that.
let's be realistic also, right?
Hey, D, I am gonna let you talk. Elena has been waiting. I mean, I would love to keep her up here all day. She's beautiful,
Get your shit off, Micah.
but I gotta let her speak. Go ahead, Elena.
Hi, thank you. With Mel, I think it's just with Mel. I don't think that she has an issue speaking on the pod because if you go back to when Melissa was a guest star on the pod with her, Joe, and everybody, it was a very they were, she's very funny. She's very, as Joe has said, Melissa knows how to be funny. I feel as though the issue that a lot of people are having is that she, um, I feel like the guys really, every time Melissa tries to speak, the guys really dogpile her. And I feel like a lot of the topics that she speaks on specifically are the serious ones, um the serious like female stuff. Like I remember back to the when the Vivica Fox topic was happening, they were she wanted to speak on like this is sexist. Like she wanted to be like this is sexist that y'all are even you can tell that she wanted to be like no, like y'all are being sexist towards her right now. Y'all are talking about how she's too old or she wants to be setting these boundaries or she should have been setting these boundaries when she was younger, and you can tell that she wanted to say all that, but she also was scared to say certain stuff because the guys were going to be like, oh, but like if a guy did this, if a nigga did this, it was kind of like she kind of reserves herself sometimes because she knows that her female, like she's on here to be the female point of view, but she knows that her female point of view will get dogpiled. She knows that her female point of view will get more pushback because of this. Somebody said it earlier. This is a boys podcast, so it's one female versus all these boys, and they're all gonna have a differing opinion than her. And most oftentimes they do. So she's has to fight against all of these guys versus this one girl. I feel as though Melissa usually does her best when she is when she is allowed that space. A lot of times I do often like when Joe is like, everybody shut up, let Melyssa talk, and then she just gets her shit off, because like when the Diddy shit happened and she was just allowed to speak, and she was allowed to go into different facts about how this nigga has been kind of weird in the past, and she really, spilled, engaged a lot in that conversation. Or also when other women are on the podcast, because she feels as though she's not the only voice. When I forget her name, the lady from Florida Tree came on there a couple days ago. Not Marsha Ambrosia, yeah. When she was on there, Mel was really trying to get her, ask her questions, ask her a bunch of stuff, and engage with her a lot, even though everybody is trying to engage with Marsha, but you can tell that she was really into it. She was really trying to get that engagement in. But a lot of times with Mel, it's kind of like, I'm not gonna like like, what's his name? He was like, oh, Ice was just talking about, oh, she's doing the caping, or like she's doing this or doing that. But she's not caping. It's like she really has this point of view. She really has this point of view from the women. Even if you go into Mel's media, like other media that she does, like I believe she was like being interviewed, or she was on a different podcast. But all of the topics about that, it wasn't centered around messiness. It was more centered around like, why do females not want to speak up in this space, or why do females not want to speak up in this space? So a lot of her and a lot of her voice is that, like, why do it's I don't know, I'm sorry.
Wow. Go ahead, D-Lo.
Thank you for that. Way to go, Micah. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Micah. And what's
I was
good, Joe?
nervous. My apologies. I had like a whole
No worries.
sorry.
No worries. You did wait patiently, and Micah is just
One thing, Joe, can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Hey, man, one thing I learned from you, which can apply to Mel as well, is there's a power in saying no, right? Like your yes is just as important as your no. So if there's a topic she don't want to talk about, and she don't want to speak on it, and she says no, cool. But I will say, everybody that's kicking her back in, at one point in the beginning, I felt the same way. But she's definitely gotten way better. And it sounds like you guys want this perfect podcast where she's supposed to say what she needs to say at the right time. It's just supposed to, Ice is supposed to, and Joe's supposed to. And the reality is, your pod being imperfect is what makes it perfect. The jokes that you guys have to say towards her, the reasons why I laugh is because she's doing the job that she's doing, right? Or not doing. So it's actually working. That's how I feel. I feel like there's
I
plenty
understand.
of times where I'm laughing, cracking up because she's not doing what you want her to do.
It's on every topic though. Like it's literally if you can go by every episode and you can hear like multiple times in the episode. Sometimes he's like, "Yo, are you going to say anything?" Like I can understand if he was on some like, "Okay, I want to see this topic out." I don't think Joe would trip, but like I'm literally hearing him every episode say, "Are you going to be a podcaster?" Like are y'all not hearing the
My
same shit?
brother,
Like it's not
they're
just one
talking
thing.
for like 3 hours for 7 days. Like she's not gonna always have something to say, and in times that she don't, Joe is suave enough to at least make it entertaining.
Yeah, like when I'm
It's
saying
got the
that,
same
I'm
shit.
kind of leaning into or making a narrative out of something that's going on
Exactly.
rather than expressing like some type of anger about it or some like yeah, I think some of y'all might be taking me a little too serious. I'll own up to maybe
I'm
I'll be
not saying you getting personal. I'm just saying that I'm not even saying I think she should go, but that's why I said that's by opinion. You might feel different. I'm just saying there's something to it when it's that frequent. Now I'm not saying you can't sit out a topic,
Hey,
but there it's a
I
difference.
just want to say, man, y'all keep doing y'all thing. And to be honest, there's some girls up there who probably won't even be able to handle the shit that Melyssa goes through working with y'all. So, you know what I mean? So the reality is, I think y'all doing a great job. It's not perfect. Mel's not going to always stand up for the women, but there's going to be times where she do. And when she do, love it, respect it. And when she don't, shit, keep making them jokes fly.
Listen, I don't want the rest of this space to seem like some Melissa group think help pod spaces. I started this spaces to defend my chicken joke and to defend some of my rants that I went on. And I think people took like I was speaking to Mel and I was not. I appreciate everyone, of course. Micah, you're not slick either. I seen what you did.
What?
I don't see it
Community?
more, but
Community? Oh,
no,
you talking
not
about
in the
Regina?
community. I don't see it no
Oh
more.
yeah, she ran.
But you're not as low as you think you be being. I just want to tell you that.
I appreciate the platform.
Hey, yo.
I maybe will start another spaces shortly just to get the stench out room, town hall stench out of here. It smells like fucking cigarettes and shame.
You
Have a
ducking
more
smoke, Joe.
fun upseat.
You ducking smoke.
I'm duck. Oh, Joe don't duck smoke.
Listen. The real issue that niggas is avoiding is you don't be setting her up to get her shit off. I think a lot of the time she be hesitant, and the auntie shit wasn't a good example because I thought she ruined that whole topic. But normally, when she do try to get her shit off, you hit her with the Melyssa Ford, or you'll do some other shit. And a lot of times, I feel like that's why we don't really get the Mel when it may be you off the pod and she really be in her bag, or like the first time she was on the pod when you were letting her get her shit off. Just a lot of time, I feel like y'all shut it down, and that's why she be real hesitant.
That's the smoke. You think the likes of me is ducking? That was the
Well,
smoke.
all niggas is dancing around it, saying it's a whole bunch of other shit, but I really think is you don't really. She'll do something that piss you off, and then for the rest of the pod, you don't let her get her shit off on any other topic.
Oh, Grandpa Rick with 100 sign.
Oh.
What up, Grandpa Rick?
So you don't agree with that? Nobody don't see how if Joe's off the pod,
Grandpa
Mel
Rick ready to
way more
co-sign.
Oh,
likely to
Grandpa
talk her
Rick
shit.
was kept hitting 100 button. Let's see what's
That's
up.
all.
It
That's
has
all I'm saying.
happened. You have done that too, and then you don't just do that to Melissa. If somebody
You
piss
do
you
it to
off up
everybody.
there, they sometimes get the silent button. Well, let's be clear. It's not really a silencing. It's just you're on their ass now. Like, oh yeah, you said that. That's cool, but now I'm on
That's
your
it.
ass. I relate to that energy because I'm like that
Yeah.
too. But that don't mean it ain't happening.
Yeah,
Now
dead
I
ass.
felt you yesterday on the auntie shit. I ain't gonna hold you. I felt you.
No, dead ass. But wait, I'm so what is there to run from? I agree with that.
All right.
My co-hosts know that about me.
I just feel like you don't really.
He said
You
it to
do that
Ice
with
too.
some
He
other
said,
niggas,
"Are you
but
gonna be a
it'd be different
podcaster?"
with Mel.
I do it with
He
Ish.
don't. Y'all
I used
sisters.
to do it with
He
Flip
do it to
a
everybody.
lot. I do it with Mel. I used to do it to Ice a lot. I don't see it. I maybe don't do it to Parks, but Parks is ride or die for me.
All right. I guess.
Well, if I may, because I don't have a lot of time, I just really came up here to just highlight something. We're about almost 3 hours in on a male feedback session, and honestly, after hours was that when I got there, it feels like people are very comfortable critiquing male, and I want everybody to just take a moment and ask themselves, why specifically male do I feel most comfortable giving feedback on? And just as a hint, when other podcast members get the type of feedback that Mel gets regularly, you get outcomes like we're seeing right now with Flip and Danny, Flip and Dub, Joe and Danny. It does not end well when two men or when men critique each other. It really could get nasty and very
Wait,
ugly fast.
what's the Joe and Danny? What's Joe? Yeah,
It
what's the
gets
Joe and Danny?
nasty. It starts to get competitive. The male ego starts to take over. People's it gets really nasty and really adversarial. Let's use that term. Versus
Grandpa Rick, take me and Danny out of whatever little equation you drawing right now.
I only mean it to say, we could take y'all out. I only mean it to say that when the feedback is anything other than positive from males to other males, there is always a risk of the situation escalating past conversation versus we rarely see Mel coming here to defend herself. And even if she did, she's not the best. I don't think she can defend herself very well. That's just not her bag. So we have a lot of men who really, honestly, they never wanted Mel there because they feel like this is a men's space. And she doesn't fit into any of the stereotypes. She's not showing up as a Sapphire. She's not showing up as a Mammy. She's not showing up as a Jezebel. She is a 50-year-old complex, wise woman, and that's what she shows up to the pod as, but nobody wants to see that.
47.
Excuse me, Grandpa Rick, if I may. I'm probably the oldest female in here right now. I remember when everybody's career started, even Joe's, because I'm older than him, so I saw him come up as a new artist. Let's not forget that this is Melyssa fucking Ford. She was it and has been it for a lot of people. And this disrespect, if you think someone, and Melyssa is not 50, let's get that correct.
Somebody speaking right now?
Because I'm older than Melyssa.
Yes, somebody's speaking. Maxwell is speaking
Yes.
right now.
I'm older than Melyssa. I'm older than Joe. I'm older than Ish. So, yes, I remember when Melyssa hit the scene. I remember when Joe hit the scene. So, this disrespect, thinking that Mel cannot stand up for herself, given...
Do you watch the pod, ma'am?
Oh, yes, honey. I've been watching it since the jump.
Do you feel like Mel defends herself well, ma'am?
Can I finish my statement
Well,
first
you actually
before I
interrupted
interrupt
me,
it?
so I'm just giving you I'm just asking you a handful of questions.
That is
Young
an
lady.
elder, Grandpa.
Way to go, Micah.
A young lady. What
We'll let
I'm
you go.
saying is Melyssa was one and still is the top video vixens of all time. So she has been around all types of men and had to have spoken her mind in order to get where she got. And if you know Melyssa, you know she continued to speak her mind through the various podcasts she was on. So all of this, Melyssa can't stand up for herself. Melyssa can't do that.
And this is why I asked you, did you watch the
I'm not
pod?
done.
Even
I'm
the
not
most
done, young.
That is an elder, Rick. You will let her speak, and then you will finish. Come on, Lady Maxwell. Unmute, please. Ms. Maxwell?
Yeah, so like I was saying, I'm not even prepared. I'm not going to debate whether or not Melyssa can defend herself very well. Everybody, even the most staunch male fans, will say that clapping back is just not her. That's not her bag. Reading people, that's just not her thing. If it is her thing, it has never displayed itself on the podcast. I don't profess to know Melyssa.
But what I'm saying
she may
is
be reading people for filth in real life. She does not do it on podcasts.
The
So
disrespect being shown,
by stating a
the
fact about her.
disrespect being shown to both Melyssa and to Joe is highly ridiculous. You got to understand, when I was on the scene, LL was my dude. So to say that I've been through all 50 years of hip hop, meaning the music, the videos, the vinyl, the tapes, the disc, the everything. I've been through it, and I don't know what's going on here that y'all can't just give Melyssa her flowers for even being up there. If you had seen her on Hollywood Unlocked, you'd understand that she's in a much more comfortable space than she was with Jason Lee. So before you go to, trying to tear somebody down, how about looking at your own life and seeing if your bricks and foundations are in place? Thank you.
No, nothing personal now, Miss Maxwell. Let's be
No,
nice.
back to what I was saying. Melyssa, obviously, clapping back is just not her forte. We never seen it on the podcast, right? That's not us disrespecting her. That's just us stating something that's an obvious fact. All I came up here to highlight is that people feel really comfortable just attacking Melyssa because she's the only woman on that platform, and they want her to show up in specific ways. And when she does not show up in that way, when she shows up as is, then now it's time for critiquing and policing and all this other stuff that we're seeing right now. honestly, Joe, that chicken, you're doubling and tripling down. That might be. And what's funny is like you kind of brought up how you made fun of the lady, the drowning lady, or that situation, and nobody critiqued you for that, because I think that's just your brand of comedy. I think the chicken comment specifically was fairly degrading. It's just a degrading thing to say, like, oh, all it takes is
What was degrading
some
about it?
chicken to get to you. You're basically.
Wait. I want to hear you clearly. What was degrading about it?
It's degrading to indicate to a woman that all it would take is to get all it takes is some chicken in order to have access to her sexually or otherwise, especially in the context of, well, if
Grandpa Rick, I never said that or implied that.
it was clearly implied. You said
No,
all it
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 takes
was
is
wasn't.
not.
I'm
chicken to
standing
get it
behind
done.
Joe on
So
this one.
let
Wait,
me
all right,
ask
hold
you,
on.
what did you mean by get it done?
Hold on. I had to remove her. Maxwell, thank you. Grandpa Rick, what'd you say? What did I mean by get it done?
Correct.
My premise was laid out. Would you be kinder? Would you be kinder? Kinder. Would you be kinder? Not would you fuck, not would you sleep with. Would you be kinder to that person? What is degrading or disrespectful about that? About
It's
that
the get
reference
it done part. So
saying you
you're
were
saying
kinder
it's kinder to, she
chicken,
would be
you were
kinder for
kinder to a guy that cooked chicken. Yes.
have we stopped to consider she actually liked that guy, and he probably could have
Oh,
did
here
less
we
and did not
go
even make chicken?
now with the
That's
bullshit.
the I'm just
Who gives
that's
a
a
fuck
practical
about
part of
any
this
of that?
conversation. We can't just skip over it because it's not convenient.
Think piece of the way.
And this is
I'm
what I get
standing
mad
in that.
about.
That was hilarious.
We want to. You can think it's funny. That's your brand of comedy. But if you got several people coming to tell you that it was degrading, it was hard to watch, it was offensive, all of these
Turn it
things,
off then.
I agree. You can't just turn it off. That's why I had no intentions on bringing it up here. But if you start a stage where you want to address the people who are saying that, then I think there's space for us to come up here and say why we think that. Like,
I agree. I think that everyone should have a voice.
Oh no, you don't really think that, Joe.
my only point
I
is to
do.
say that we
I
got to
do
stop
think
going
that.
so hard on Mel. She's not even the worst podcaster on that stage. I'm tripling, quadrupling down on that. I wish I could see more women honestly be a little bit more, give more grace to other women instead of using every opportunity to take their back in, because men do not do it for you given the same opportunity. But if you want to humiliate yourself like that, sis, I support you in your humiliation. The moral to the story is we're moving on 3 hours of kicking Melyssa's back in. If we could just either, like you said, Joe, end the space and try to regroup or just move on, that would be really great.
Rick always want to control the room. All right. Beyonce, then sincere, then president.
Dun dun dun.
It was just
Well,
a suggestion.
I do think that we need a new space with a new aroma. I do agree with that.
So you about to close this space on Regina
No,
like
this
that?
this
Come on,
space
Joe.
smell nice. It smell nice. Keep going.
Hello, everyone.
Nah.
Yo, Micah,
Let me
you are
stop this up.
Micah. We got to talk about this one day. But please, get your shit off.
This
No.
podcast is built for tough skin, G.
It
This
really
podcast
is.
is built for tough skin. It was just, I'm pretty sure somebody already covered the Parks joke, but like, come on, man, this is tough skin here. This is real love here. Oh,
So
man.
when do we move past tough skin to outright offensive? Like, is there a space for
You
that?
cut it
We're
off.
past
Cut
that.
it off.
When we move to a
Yes,
new
I don't want them to
podcast.
change. You're just gonna have to cut it off.
It's not offensive to assume that you would be kinder to the person that paid your rent for the next few months. I'm sorry.
Maybe had you kept it on kinder and said you would be nicer because you have been nicer to men after they made you chicken. Maybe had you stuck to those types of that type of verbiage, we wouldn't be here right now. But when you say get it done is such a even though you had a clear line of statements that you were making to lead to that statement, overall when you hear it, it sounds like something totally different. It's all about the word choice at the moment. But
The
honestly,
joke
if
wouldn't be
y'all think
funny if
that's
he didn't do it
hilarious,
that
like
way.
I said,
Yeah,
continue to laugh.
cry
But that
me
doesn't
a
mean that other people
river
It's
are
with
like
not
this
that's
funny.
shit.
the only way.
Shut the fuck up.
Preach.
Jesus.
Y'all can be mad.
God damn it.
We got 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes.
I wanted to say
Uh,
that I like Mel. And I also agree that she don't have to say much, but she can clap back. But I don't think she's the average American girl to do it. Cause I feel like we're raunchy. She doesn't come off that way. So why expect that from her? I had to let that go because she doesn't give it up. She
You
just
said you're
don't.
what? You
All right,
described
Micah.
yourself as what?
All right.
American girls are
You've
raunchy.
done enough.
No, they
We're
are
gonna end,
like
we're
even
gonna
when
end this. We're gonna end this on American girls are raunchy. Holy shit. And y'all say I'm bad. Y'all are bad. This was great. This was great. Glad we could have the discourse. Even if we didn't all agree at the end. I think it was fun. I'm gonna make a few phone calls and maybe I'll start a fun space. There we go. A fun space sounds like some fun. There we go. And Grandpa Rick, I'll have you know that I opened this space for me to be held accountable. This was not a Mel improve her potting think space, even though it did turn into that at some point. And that's that. Micah, do you have any final words or any DMs you want to send to anybody before this space ends?
No, I was sending all my friend requests and follow requests as we speak now before you close the door. Stephanie, hello.
Yo, you know what? How did I know that Stephanie was going to be your next shot? All right. Have a blast, everybody. See you shortly.